Good morning, good morning, good morning. How y'all feel out there? Peace to the gods and the goddesses. Oh, yes. We're going to get into some morning spirituality this beautiful Thursday. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. What we're going to talk about is we're going to let Brother Bobby Hemmit embark on an expedition. I got something good for y'all today. Don't worry, this is really a good one. Y'all gonna enjoy it. It gets a little. You know how Bobby get. He gets a little deep, gets a little intricate. But Bobby is actually American centered. He's actually American Indian centered. So it's always good to hear the brother talk. You know. So now, without any further ado, I do, I do, you do, we do. Let's get into the show. Thank everybody for joining. Do me a favor when you come in, take out your stress on that like button. You see it right there? Give it the business. Hit that. See that like button? Punch it in the mouth one time. I bet you you'll feel better. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get into the show.
The green bird, which is with you, high-end you, all types of degrees. The other one is Ahmed Osman's book, Moses, in the new. It used to be called Moses and Akhenaten, one and the same. I think the name of it now is Moses, Pharaoh of Egypt. Is the new name. Okay, and then there's Moses and Monotheism by Sigmund Freud. So the story is you had a group of Akhenaten followers that was asked to leave Kemet after Akhenaten tore down the priesthood for 15 years at Tel al-Amarna and established his order of Atan, which was an Ethiopian deity of Ra-Heru-Kahudi or Ra-Ha-Kiwit, coming out of Ethiopia. Atan this, or Ra-Ha-Tidi, but he kind of misconstrued a little bit of the mysteries. But what he did is when he shut down the other priesthood, he created a form of dogma. Anyway, the priest was going to kill his behind, and they was like, you need to get the trucking and stuff. And they might have taken him out. But anyway, he had a high priest, because Akhenaten was raised in Kemet and couldn't speak his mother's language that came from Cush. So they had a high priest, a Cushite priest in the Mysteries of Amun Ra, who could speak the language, and that was the actual Moses figure. But it's a combination of the emancipator is Moses, Akhenaten, and this high priest. Now, the Torah, or the first 5 books of Moses, wasn't written until 700 years after this. Either this high priest died or Akhenaten died. We know it's a collaboration of two. The actual emancipator, or the actual person who was the heretic king that went against the Egyptian priesthood, was Akhenaten. But he had a high priest with him, which is this Moses fella, Moses, Tutmosis, these particular names, who was probably the person who put the actual text together by using the Hermetic text. They just basically used text that was already in Kemet. And one of those, the Exodus period, the Exodus thing of now if you're uncomfortable, sister, you got that, you can chill back in the chair and you can get the brother, the soldier, to see. Are you all right? But the Exodus period was some scripts that came out of Egypt. It was coming out of Hermetic text about people being in bondage in a place for 400 years, and all of that stuff was talking about America. Because I said that these texts were talking about in the future. We have the Hermetic texts that talk about that in the Perfect Sermon. They knew we was going to go into slavery and all of that. 5,000 years before. And those still exist. The Hermetic text of Asclepius. You can get several books on that. The ones that's in print that have that Hermetic text in there.
The Hermetic text of what?
It's called, it's just called a Hermetica. And the name of the book that's still in print is, get this one, because the one is going to be hard to get. One is called Hermetica by Peter Gandy and Peter Gandy and Timothy Freak. Peter Gandy and Timothy Freak. Hermetica. That one is still in print. And it's a little smaller book and stuff, and it gets straight to the point. But the prophecy of what was going to go into slavery and all of this stuff is in that particular text. So we knew we was going to go into slavery. As a matter of fact, oh yeah, we knew it. We had a 5,000-year prophecy in the Hermetic text, which is some text that came out of Egypt. Hermes is the Greek word for Tahuti, Thoth, Tahuti. So it's called a Hermetic text, or the text of Tahuti, or the book of Thoth. You see what I'm saying? So we had those particular texts, and part of that was later on written as the book of Exodus, and these people being in bondage. You see what I'm saying? But the Hermetic text quotes, you will be, they talk about you will be in a land where the weak man will be considered strong, and the strong man will be considered weak. The pious man, which is us, they said the impious man, which is, unrighteous man, will be revered. You can always hear him, will be revered. Will be revered. The impious man will be, I just want to teach you out the information and all that. Will be revered. And the pious man will be treated like a common criminal. That's us. They said, and although your body may look Egyptian or African, your mind would be that of another race. God damn, that is us. You see what I'm saying? They said death will be referred to than life, because shit, everything. You 5 years old, you done seen 100,000 people get killed on TV. You know what I'm saying? I watched a movie and I'm like, why did they do this? A movie on Cold Mountain. I go through this whole damn movie down there 3 hours, and they kill the nigga at the end. And I'm like, this got to come from a white man's head. Because the mythology, in all mythology, the guy gets the girl and they ride off into the sunset. There's a reason for that, because that's always the Isis and Osiris story. Because the basis of the love story is Isis and Osiris. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately they got to get back together. That's the goal. I'm like, damn, do they always have to kill somebody? I like the movie Untouchables. They get you in, you like Sean Connery's thing, when the Elliot Ness, and then they kill him. I'm like, well, damn, I'm supposed to enjoy this. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm of another origin, and they like that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? So now we are into that type of thing. So they said life will be preferred to death, and they just go into all this stuff. They said the gods will abandon Jesus. No, excuse me, the gods will abandon. Let me get that right. The gods will abandon the humans. The gods will abandon Egypt. And what used to be venerated as the home of the gods will be nothing but a mass graveyard, and will be visited by all types of different races. And they said these are archaeologists and different people like that, and all these white folks taking journeys over there every year. You see what I'm saying? So this was the text. And so it's talking to Tahuti is talking to Asclepius, which is the Greek word for Imhotep. Because when you do the Hippocratic oath, you have to pray to Asclepius, which is Imhotep. So the Greek gods, so Asclepius, which is Imhotep, is talking to Tahuti. Tahuti is giving him this knowledge, and all this stuff is getting ready to happen. And he starts to cry. And then when he starts to cry, he said, well, will we ever get out of this? And he said, yes. He said, Maya will be established. How? He said it will be a group of Egyptians that will live in these final days. Ironically, they call the Hemmit spirits, the Hemmit spirits, and that's just by this accident, Hemmit, Hemmet, Hemmit spirits, and it means those entities will be in the last days. And ironically, my name just happened to be Hemmit, but they talk about these things. They said, but there will be a group of entities that will be spirits that will be, first they said it will be a land that will be established at the end of the setting sun. That's the west. The sunrise in the east comes to the west. And they said there will be a group of Egyptians that will be in this land in the end. Now, you know what? Egypt, Cam, which means black land, the black people, Kush, Punt, you see what I'm saying? They say, well, we'll be in this land in the last days. And those particular Egyptians will reestablish Maya. He said, well, where are these people now? He said, they now live in the African hills, because they say the Libyan hills. Libya is a part of Africa, which is say the African hills. In so many words, they are now on the continent of Africa, or they are not, but they also said Egypt, which saying that in actuality, so they give Africa, they give a group of Egyptians, a group of Canaanites, and the reason why they give you two, because they're saying in actuality, these people will be a consortium of West Africa, East Africa, and all around the continent, because this thing is more than just one continent. You see what I'm saying? But it's in so many words, they say that there be these Egyptians or African or black people will be in America. Now reestablish Maya. Now in the movie Highlander, the first one, he said, we got to walk the earth. We're immortal. We got to walk the earth until, he said, until the last time, till a gathering. He said, where? He said, until the gathering. He said, where's the gathering? He said, it will be in a land that's not established yet. This was in the 1400s. When he's telling the man this, he said, in them last days, it'll be a gathering in America. You see what I'm saying? So you get the Camelot myth, because the Camelot, so all this is our story. So the Camelot myth was brought up is the story of Isis and Osiris, which is documented in the book, Rundle Clark's book, Egyptian Myth and Symbol. And it talks about that your Osiris, that your King Arthur and the Round Table and Guinevere and the Holy Grail and all of that is not but the Osiris story retold, which we know because the Moors is the one that brought this stuff up into Europe, brought these texts up into Europe. So in your King Arthur story, you get the word Camelot. Cam means black land, Kush, Egypt, and Lot, so it means new lot of Egypt. So it came up France, Ireland, Spain, and then when the British took over Ireland, they took the mythology of King Arthur and the Round Table. The word Arthur means the word Otha, which means dog star, which is, and you know, Osiris is Greek for Sirius. Sirius is Greek for Osiris. So you got Greek Osiris and you got Sirius, which is also Greek, which is also means Osiris. Also means Isis, Hathor, or Heru. It's got several things. Primordial star of all time. But in the story, in the after Arthur, King Arthur, that's Osiris. Round Table. And I'll get into the metaphysical thing of that in a few minutes. But Britain tried to be like they got the Arthur, and that was all Britain. No, they stole the story from Ireland or whatever when they got into war and all, and then he go again and try to historicalize it. But the story Camelot was talking about America. Even in their ritual, they call both the Kennedys, the New Camelot. They even mentioned that Clinton in there, when Clinton was ruled, they called that the New Camelot. So in so many words, they knew this was American story, and the people of the gathering in Camelot was talking about us. You see what I'm saying? So these stories, and it go on and on. So you get your biblical version of you being a land of 400 years, not your own. What is this? Just not but a retelling of the same Hermetic stories. You see, but in so many words, what this thing is talking about, not only is it us, which we're getting ready to get into. We're going to pull these libations. Not only is it us, but there's nothing but us. What I mean by that, not talking about the people on earth. This is one of the great mysteries, and this is very, very lonely. But if you're at a certain level, and I have to apologize if you're not on this level, but there's nothing else left in the universe but us. Ain't no shit up there looking down on you. There is no subordinates. It's about like we down here, and we represent the bottom of the hourglass. And you take the hourglass and turn it over, and then the energy of the sand starts to trickle down. You see what I'm saying? After the sand trickles down to the bottom, there is nothing left up in the top part of the glass. All the energy that you have prayed to all these years, all the things you have learned is now that energy is now fused in us. Very key. Because if the government ever have to get after you, you better tell that motherfucker that you God. Because if you tell him, I believe in God, he going to say, lock that bastard up. Because the prison is full. 98% of all them niggas say that God going to take care of them. And that's when they end up in prison. Is it not written in your law that ye are gods, John chapter 10, verse 34, 36, and the scriptures cannot be broken? Get that book, Annalise Scarron's book, Ye Are Gods.
What's his name, Annalise Scarron?
Annalise Scarron, S-C-A-R-A-N-E-N. Annalise Scarron. You can either get, if you got the title right, it'll pop up the thing. Annalise Scarron, but it's called Ye Are Gods. And on the first page, they give you all the Bible verses where ye are gods. Huh?
While you're on the titles, Moses and the Pharaoh of Egypt also called.
Ahmed Osman.
Yeah, Ahmed Osman.
Osman, O-S-M-A-N.
Okay.
Right. So the government already know. You be like, oh, all I gonna take care of me, they're gonna like, this idiot don't know. If we've been in the mystery system, we figured this shit out yet. God is who ruled this motherfucker. It's like, there's a battle of supremacy, and they understand about the cosmos and the energies and where it is. Now, let me give you an example. There's a book, it's a little passage in a book, Kabbalah, by Gershom Scholem. Got a lot of books. He said, that's when you know a nigga knows some shit. You see what I'm saying? Motherfucker come before you and be running that damn mountain, you be like, back that shit up, and he can't give you no text. It's time out for that shit, because it's not about that nigga up there in the seat looking good. It's about you learning, because this shit is about you. So in Gershom Schrolem's book, Gershom Scholem, a book called The Kabbalah. Some of the book lists I put on the paper. In there it said that both God and man exist with this potential. But what is potential in God unfolds and manifests in man. God is just this energy or potential, and we know the principles that we have been taught based on religion, but in the scientific aspect, because the religion and science was not separated in ancient world. We are the perfecting agents of God. That's what it says. Man is the perfecting. So in so many words, that's what we are. We're the ones that bring this shit about. Not nothing up in the what you call. All that down there is the rays of initiations that emanate inside of you to get you to a certain level. You the one gonna do it. You see what I'm saying? They say what exists seemingly in God unfolds and manifests in man. Then they go on down, they say, but it's by a Neoplatonic energy. Neoplatonism comes from the word Platonism, Neoplatonism, all see, so all that is nothing but talking about Hermeticism, and in Kemet it's called alchemy. The wisdom of Tahuti is the mistress of alchemy. Neoplatonic formula, alchemical formula, means melanin. Alchemy is the study of melanin. Precious stones, but spiritual alchemy is talking about everything that's in that universe exists inside of us. And what exists inside of us exists inside of melanin, inside of the body. Because it doesn't matter how light you are. We're talking about the melanin in the central nervous system. You see what I'm saying? And that's the Neoplatonic formula. It exists in us. This chaos in the body. We're going to get into all that in a few minutes. I'm going ahead of myself. But just to set the paradigm up of what we're talking about here. Y'all all right? Yeah. Is this interesting?
Yeah.
It's inside of us. So in so many words, this is how we get this thing. You say you wanted the power, is we still are looking at this thing as us being subordinate, and we calling on energies that is outside of us. Now these energies exist. They exist in another dimension. But the conduit or the gateway in which they manifest is inside of the central nervous system and inside of the energy of our bodies. You understand what I'm saying? But we are one with them. So you're saying, well, how can I be one with God or above God or whatever? Look, or with God. If you take this water and dip it in the ocean, and the ocean represents God, you heard me talk about this a lot of times. Is not the content in this bottle the same as the content in the ocean? It's the same. Well, the energy that we talk about, we permeating when you talk about this Kundalini energy. And the chakra systems, there's 160 of them. We got 7 major ones. That particular energy, you see what I'm saying, is all that is. It exists inside of us, and that which makes us gods, or the deity. You see what I'm saying? So at this particular point, you say you want the real deal at this particular point. The way this stuff works is based on your mindset of finding out what you are. Are you humans, or are you gods having a human experience? We are gods having a human experience, or nightmare. You see what I'm saying? You see, so these are the concepts. It's just that the Romans, man, I should have brought that damn tape. I should have brought that tape and let you. The Romans are the ones that we got enough outlets. Oh, damn. You can't do everything. The Romans are the ones that turn the Jesus figure into an objective entity that you got to look at outside of yourself. Because the Horus, because there's several names of this thing. It's Horus. You got Hercules in Greece. That's a form of the Christ figure. You got Jason in Greece. That's a part of the Christ figure. Now, when I say Greece, I'm not talking about white folks. These are the ancient black Etruscans, Etrurians, people that the white folks migrated in. But we still, be honest with you, you go to Greek right now, those people are dark people. As a matter of fact, one of the brothers in Greece, when I went to Greek town and was doing a lecture up in Detroit, and went to Greek town, the guy was serving me was your color. I said, where you from? He said, I'm from Greece. Hell. He said, my family's been there since the beginning of time. So we talk about black people. You see what I'm saying? And most of the white statues you see was made in the late 1800s. You know, I'm talking about the white people just literally went over there in the late 1800s and made these statues recently, about 100 years ago. A Renaissance period. You go to Canada, you go to any other place, you see shit falling all off of people, what they didn't knock off their nose. You go to Greece, the statues are perfect. They made those statues about 200 years ago. Cuneiform. Did you think the oldest writing word? That shit was made at the University of Chicago. Made at the University of Chicago. Cuneiform. You gotta know it's a fake shit. They ain't got the 4 or 5 tablets that's supposed to explain all this damn history. Hell, you go to damn Kemet, you have a whole damn temple with hieroglyphics from top to bottom, and you can't get all the history. Well, how the hell you gonna get all the history of Samaria off a 4 or 5 little piece of rocks? You bought that. That shit was made at the University of Chicago. What's that? What's that, brother?
How can I reference, research?
One of the brothers that did the research on that is Brother Walter Williams. Wrote a book, Historical Origins of Christianity, and a new book, Historical Origins of Islam. Those Walter Williams, he did the research on that and stuff. And he told me it was from made at the University of Chicago. This is interesting here. They got Champollion, who's supposed to be the guy who went and translated hieroglyphics. He didn't translate shit. They had a few little alphabets that he was able to get. You know how they got hieroglyphics? How they do everything. They went outside to a motherfucking nigga on the street. The nigga on the street looked at the shit and could read it. And that's how they translated hieroglyphics. This story, if you go to University of Chicago, this story is prevalent because the sister Raketi Wimbley, who is one of the only black Egyptologists, this woman who could read Metanetta at the time, she told me the story in her home in New Jersey. Now, I know this to be true because I got a guy named Yehoshua who used to speak on my tapes. Learned how to speak Hebrew in a damn week. So good until he was at Boston University teaching rabbis how to speak, because some of the glyphs because they don't have melanin in their eyes, they can't see certain curves and they were getting shit wrong. So I know that you can learn the stuff in a doggone way. The reason why I know that and stuff, let me show you what I'm talking about. I was up in Philly. There was a guy up there. They had this white boy come and build some space-age machine that these corporations is using, because they into all kind of stuff. The white boy go back to Europe, Germany or something. The machine might break down in the middle of something, and they can't fly this white boy in from Germany. They gotta wait, and they got to tell. You know what they do? They say, go out in the street and get a nigga from around that liquor store or something. This brother here said, I was on the damn street. He said, white boys come and pick me up, take me to a room, this big ass machine. He said, I didn't know what it did or what it was for. He said, all I knew was I could fix it. Mm-hmm. And we know niggas like that right now, fix cars. There was a nigga, man. I said, where you get this fucking bum ass nigga here from? I said, this nigga crackhead? He said, every time I see this nigga here, they got him around some mechanic shop fixing Mercedes, BMWs, and all them German cars. He said, a lot of niggas can't fix them shit. So he said, this the nigga I pulled over from the street and gave him some money. His brother could fix anything. I said, man, how the hell you do that shit? He didn't know nothing about no magic or nothing. He said, look, I pray to the Lord. and I go to bed at night, and when I wake up in the morning, the shit is blueprint in my brain. He said, I got so good one time, I stepped to a woman's car and put my hand on the car, and the damn car started. See what I'm saying? So my point here is, it's called genetic memory bank.
Right. DNA.
So that's how they was able to get the stuff. And so the cuneiform and all that was a joke anyway. We didn't even have to even deal with that because it ain't up a 4 or 5 plate tablets. So how you gonna get a whole history of damn Samaria, Babylon, or whatever on some little old tablets? Some bullshit. And they saying it was older than hieroglyphics, but they done found a hieroglyphics that's older than that. Plus, the hieroglyphics are the hieratic, Demotic, and stuff you get in Kemet. They said that when you go over there, even not Renoka Rashida, your boy, Ashra Kwesi, so they got about 4 or 5 scripts that they can't even translate. Hell, when they built an Aswan Dam, they covered over 300 temples, covered them over in Nubia. Now they claim all the stuff that they needed, the water and all that. Look, this is 300 temples, but the reason why they covered them over because that was Nubia, and they knew that they wouldn't be able to front that the Egyptians was white and all this other type of stuff. Now let me tell you how this thing also goes to clear up some stuff. They had all these people, the Hebrews, the Greeks, the Romans, and all these people, and they were all black now. You see, none of these were white folks. That's later. That's a fabrication. And they were all in that land, and they had all these languages, but they didn't have a script. Guess how they got these scripts? Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Arabic. Because it can't be no savage Arab. The Arab is so savage, so he wipes his hand with his left hand to this day. Some of them wipe their ass with their left hand to this day. You see what I'm saying? These people were some of the most savage people till they sat on Kemet for 1,000 years until the white man had to come and start unearthing that stuff. Those texts that we have, the Egyptians wrote those texts for their language. So they would come and say, we need a language, we need a text for this language. And the Egyptians would write out a text, an alphabet and text, and give them that, and they learn the language. That's how you got all that shit. When we talk about masters, gods. So that old cuneiform, that's a joke. But when he told me University of Chicago, I laughed because I knew how they do things. But it ain't nothing but 4 or 5 tablets. How the hell you gonna have 4 little clay tablets that's supposed to explain everything in the universe? So that's all a joke. That's all a joke. One of the oldest languages is Kemet, the Meta-Netta, or hieratic, Demotic, and Meta-Netta, and also Sanskrit. That's in India. Because remember now, that's the pre-dynastic Egyptians, the Kushites. The book, Wonderful Ethiopians in the Ancient Kushite Empire by Drusilla Dundee Houston. Black woman wrote that in the 1930s. That Kush, Ethiopia, used to rule. All of Arabia was Kush. All of Egypt was Kush. All of India was Kush. All of Samaria, all that was one land, the Kushite Empire. Wonderful Ethiopians in the Ancient Kushite Empire. I think they still sell it at the Shrine of the Black Madonna.
Yeah.
By Drusilla Dundee Houston. Y'all all right? Is this boring you? Okay, we got to get all this stuff out of the way.
Priscilla Dundee?
Dundee, Houston, yeah. So now, so moving right along in this physical thing, what we setting up and stuff is ye are gods. That's the mystery. Now, this is funny how this thing works because you set it up yourself. Let's say you decide you want to follow somebody or follow something. And guess what? By you being God, when you decided, you got to do that. So under Christianity, the way the laws go, when you sin, you actually sin. Why? Because you up under a system that you either voluntary or involuntary decided you want to follow. So under that system, you won't see. That's the way it is. It's called cause and effect. As above, so below. As within, so without. As on top, so up under. The laws of correspondence. So if you set up that law, if it's bad for you, it's bad for you. So if I say drinking is bad, and I believe that, guess what? Drinking is bad. But if I say, no, this ain't up with some damn shit, we don't even exist. It's only a damn illusion. And I drink that shit. Just depends on your mindset. You see what I'm saying? So you put limitations for yourself based on your trainings. Who said fucking was bad? But people that they had a lot of your homosexuals, what happens is this here. When a system goes nomad, they have a civilization and everything is harmonious. And that's when you see more of a correspondence between the male and the female. But as the civilization, if they break down and if they go nomad and they becomes, nomad just means they just dwellers. They just go all over the world or whatever, just traveling around. Usually when the system comes nomad, then the first thing they do is the males, when it's a hostile environment, the first thing they do is the males turn against the females. You see what I'm saying? Like even in the European tradition, they would stick a hole in the damn ice and they go up under there and they pull out some fish and they can say, well, the fish is abundance this year. That's fine. But when the fish was low, they say that they have to kill every other female child. So in sexism is a book more than racism. When a system goes nomad, the first thing they do is turn against the woman. You see, turn against the woman. On that particular level. So then certain things become taboo. Then a certain female hatred, which is nothing but an extension of homosexuality. So you be a manly man and say that bitch ain't shit. You still a fucking faggot. Amazing how this shit goes. Xenophobia and all that homosexual stuff, it all comes together. And the hatred of a woman, although you can be the manly man, and you can be screwing 1,000 women. Never got poked up the butt. You still a part of the gay realm because you hate the woman, and that's the origin of where this shit come from. You see what I'm saying? It's real key on that type of thing. You see, so it's just now. On the other hand, see, it's like chaos. Whenever you try to fight it one way, it's gonna come back the other way. On another hand, when you deny males the right to not tap into when you deny the males the right information to tap into their feminine side, then the body has to overcompensate, and then it jumps and goes to bisexuality. See, that's an imbalance. Male and female have both a masculine side and a feminine side. And so when a woman is denied her masculine side, you see, sometimes it overcompensates, and that's when you get that type of thing that's going on. That's a psychological disorder that happens based on society. Because in so many words, we all both have a male and female side. Because ultimately we're nothing but concepts or different aspects of the divine feminine. You're going to get this goddamn magic to work for you. You got to understand that. The male is just the masculine half of the divine feminine. You see what I'm saying? And that's the concept of this. Ain't no father, what the art guy, that's some faggot shit. It's about it's about the great mother. Now the key here is we're talking about the Typhonian system, which existed in pre-dynastic Egypt before the first monuments was built. It was already destroyed before the first monuments was built. The Typhonian system, Ophidian system, a Draconian system is the realm of the great mother. I just gave you a zodiac for the people. The zodiac here of the Temple of Dendera. Everybody got one? The Temple of Dendera is the oldest zodiac known to man. Although the Temple of Dendera, now let me say, this is the Temple of Dendera, first of all. This is the Temple of Dendera. In the top of this temple, see, am I still on? Am I still in? In the top of this temple, you got that? In the top of this temple, I'll sit back down since you would do it there. And when I get ready to stand, in the top of this temple is this zodiac. Now, is this zodiac of Dendera, which is now in the French blew it down and took it to the Louvre in Paris. They put up a plaster one up in Kemet. But and in the top of this temple is this zodiac. This is the Temple of Dendera. Now, what I'm giving you, let me show you now. I'm giving you these pictures. If you take these pictures and put them up in your house, wherever that temple was or wherever that temple is, you bring that energy in your house. This shit is real. They didn't build these shits just for pretty pictures. You get the real deal shit. Let me give you an example of what happened. Let me give you an example. I was working at the AU Center. A friend named Spiegel in the AU Center. I was working for him. And he hired me to deal, because I went to school, so I dealt with the students. So he had me to come in there. I just called out and almost tell them to come get their food, and I dealt with camaraderie with the students. And in the AU Center, because I had gone to Clark over there. So I worked for him for 4 years, and he paid me big time money under the table. So I was up in there one time, because this nigga got cheap, decided he gonna let a nigga cook. Because in the summertime, I'm just calling out, so all of a sudden he put my ass on the grill. So and I could cook real good on the grill, but shit, this nigga ain't had no nigga. I wasn't no short dog cook. I was taking the damn grease and was dumping that shit in this little hole. The way it wasn't supposed to be, but the motherfucker heat gonna get cheap and put a nigga on the grill. After I left, the goddamn stove was on fire. That damn grease caught on fire and started. Now let me tell you what happened here. I had these pictures, this Dendera. This is the Temple of Horus. I gave you both the male and the female. This is you're gonna be your energy base. You're gonna get a lot of energy from these. These are very important. I had about 5 other temples that we will produce in the next couple of months. I had the wall with all these Egyptian temples. The damn back, the kitchen burned up in the stove. They came out before it got the stove. The kitchen burned up, and the back wall that was near the kitchen, where I had all this stuff on the wall, the back wall burned up. It burned up the damn store license. It burned up the where you get your little your rating for your inspection, and it burned up all other paper on the wall. But these pictures, this Dendera, it was a damn thing. I wish I had put it on video. We walked in the store, and these pictures were sitting up on top of black ash. And I had about 10 pictures up there, these Egyptian temples, and none of them was burned up. You want to know why? Because this energy on here is the same damn energy that's in Kemet. You see what I'm saying? That's in Kemet. So I just want to put that. In the middle of this zodiac, you will see a picture of a little hippopotamus goddess. It's one right in the middle. She's a hippopotamus goddess. She got a little cane, and she got a little dog coming out from her. That's the mother and the son. It's the oldest concept of God there is. Now, this temple was built in the Ptolemy period, which is the Greek period. What it was, they had a papyrus and a crack in the wall of an old temple that they tore down because it was so old. And they took the papyrus and they made a new temple from it. But the engravings, and they took the bricks from the old temple. And so this temple, this zodiac is 90,000 years old. The concept of this zodiac. So we're talking about a Typhonian in origin of the great mother and the mother and her son. You see what I'm saying? So how does this break down to the human body? Because we're going to get into this magic for this libations. It breaks down to the human body and stuff. Even they did a thing in the early 90s where they cut open a man. You know, and they said that the cells and the tissues inside of just the male's body is the same cells and tissues that lines the vagina walls. See what I'm saying? So we're talking about different entities. And it's like, what's the name said? A man is a degenerative female. Well, we know that and stuff. This is what I disagree with. We know that based on sex. Like they say, when man, and so there's a mystery to that. When God was handing out the shit with sex, the woman got all the stuff, and then God, you just say, well, shit, here's some leftover residue for the man. Because the simple fact is that she got a system. She can have as many orgasms as she wanted. She trained herself. And she can go all night with multiple people, and we get one little nut, and it's through. That's it. See what I'm saying? You through deep. So obviously, one is more superior than another. But the mysteries is, man becomes closer to woman and superior to woman when he learns how to have orgasms instead of ejaculations. Right. On the Shiva aspect, and once he starts doing that and learning how to maintain it, on the Shiva aspect with orgasms instead of, and orgasm and ejaculation, two different things. We're going ahead and so we'll get into all of that. We got the books, and there's an excellent book on this book list called Tantra, the Cult of the Feminine. It's the last book before the Magician. Andre von Leisbeth. That's the one to get. We got several other ones. But a man becomes that with a woman after he learns how to maintain it. Because the first thing happens here is, once you learn how to go indefinitely where you don't come, then the first thing starts happening after a certain while. She starts hitting her particular orgasm. Then what happens here is once your penis gets to a certain level, you start sucking in her energy. See, a woman is a succubus. Negative, not negative in the evil sense, but she draws in. She's the black hole. We're the dagger that sticks out. So even our energy comes out of the penis. So once you become equivalent to her, once you become, I'm going to finish this. Once you become on that level where you don't ejaculate, you become one with her, and your penis actually becomes a vagina. It becomes just a big ass clitoris, because all the penis is an extended clitoris anyway, because it's a clitoris until what, the last couple of months, last 2 months or something, it turns into an elongated penis, or elongated clitoris. So we talking these things, and we still talking about these dual forces. You see what I'm saying? And we don't get into this shit of being inferiority. Like they said, Africans didn't say that it's a stupid question to ask whether you was inferior to your mama. It's a mute question, it's stupid. You want to change on that? Yeah, we're going to go into this thing. Y'all all right? Yeah. Okay, we got a lot to cover. We got a lot of things. So these things I'm giving you here, we're going to get into these things. These shits work. They work. Let me see. Okay, we on? Okay, now. All right. So now what we get ready to do now is get ready to go into this lecture. Without a lecture, we're going to go into this type of stuff of how to get this. Yeah, it is kind of cool. I tell you what, just see how it goes first. You have to adjust that shit, you know. Yeah, that's kind of cool out there. Yeah. You want to get that. If you, for what we said thus far, does anybody got any questions? You see, because we don't want this to be a lecture. We want this to be more of a roundtable seminar where no questions are too big or too small. Yeah, what's that?
The question that dealing with spirits in a sense. How do you know when they're present?
Well, first of all, you saying about with the spirits. it's going to get to, sometimes it'll get so powerful in your house until, well, it can get to the point where you can feel them. You'll be able to see them out the corner of your eye.
Yeah, I have.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest with you. There's no time that spirits are not really present. It's just that every now and then you become aware of them. You see what I'm saying? We live in multidimensional worlds, this corresponding with us at this particular time. There is no, they say we are not local, we're not foreign either. Which means the only thing that is different is your brain is telling you that this here is the only thing it is, and the other stuff doesn't, you know. It's just like if somebody that came and, when you get hit in the head, you see stars. Those are entities. That means you done been jarred to the point where your brain is not so much in control to give you the 5 senses of the physical illusion. And so therefore you see things. Or you see what I'm saying? So when people took certain things like the peyote or the sacred mushroom or the mind altering drugs, only thing they were doing was allowing their brain or the rational functions of the mind to go in a small recess to the point that they could witness the world around them. So it's the whole notion that they gotta come from somewhere. There's no such thing as space and time. It's just the only thing here is what is separating us is the actual human brain. This is the matrix. You say the matrix, well, this doesn't exist. The only thing to tell you that it exists is this human brain that gives you this touch and this feeling and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? The matrix that they talk about in the movie is the human brain. You see what I'm saying? It gives you these signals and the wiring of the brain that gives you these things that make you think that this reality is the reality. You see what I'm saying? So in so many words, the first thing here is to understand that there's no such thing as you being separate from them. Now, as far as the experience of stuff, the first thing you need to do is this here. To make way so you can get a certain amount of spirits around it, you need to get a certain amount of spirits. It's negative. Now, I'm not talking about evil, because evil doesn't exist. We're not talking about moralism. We're talking about this. You got certain people have fucked up thoughts, negative, always thinking low, messed up thoughts. Sometimes, 2 things will happen. They can bring those thoughts and stuff into your house and then leave the shit. It's called thought forms. There's a book out called Thought Forms by Annie Besant. Thought forms. Some of these thoughts, a person could be negative thought. Annie Besant is her name. She also got a book called Esoteric Christianity by Annie Besant. Let me see, there's another book called, I'll tell you the name of it. For the people that try to understand the Bible thing, there's a name of Annie Besant. B-E-S-A-N-T. There's another book called, I gotta get the name of the guy's name. It'll come to me in a minute. It's a book on the esoteric wisdom of the Bible. It'll come to me in a minute though. But anyway, thought form, let me tell you what happens. If you got some negative people, they have negative thoughts and then they die. And when they die, those thoughts still live. And they go up in the astral plane and bounce around until they find a host. And a host, they can only gravitate towards a host, and the host is a person who's thinking negative. Or, you know what I'm saying? And so they'll latch on to you or they'll come in your house. That's why you got to get some stuff called, what's the name of that stuff? It's called Creole. Let me spell that. You got to get this stuff called Creole. How you spell Creole? You know?
C-R-E-O-L-I-N.
C-R-E-O-L-I-N, Creole. All-purpose cleanser. What you put that in your house, anything negative got to get the hell up out of it. Smell like got to get the hell up out of it. It smells like strong magic marker, like permanent magic marker. Now, how many people got hardwood floors? Because you got hardwood floors, that's good. But if you don't, if you have carpet, you at least got to do the bathroom or the kitchen. As long as you get that shit in your house, mop the kitchen with it. And nothing negative got to stay in your house.
Where do you pick it up from?
See what they do. See, this is what they're doing, the government. They're coming in and they're giving you CVS, Walgreens. That's for a reason. That's to take these old mom and pop drugstores out of the neighborhood. So there's only a few of them left. The one now you can get stuff from, and they might have a few bottles. And last time I think we bought the last bottle, but you can call it and they can order it. It's one called Miller's Rexall Drugstore downtown on Mitchell, off of Mitchell Street. Just we should have brought that phone now. Just look at the thing and get Miller's Rexall Drugstore. They sell it. They sell it. They sell all kinds of the mojo stuff that, you know, it's a botanica, you know. Like there's one thing you need to get for money is something called a buckeye. A buckeye is a little nut, look like a little nut. And you take it and you wrap a dollar bill around it. You take that dollar bill up, you wear it in your pocket. You say, I got one. I think I put it in my bag. They sell them down there. They sell multiple things. We'll get into some stuff, spiritual baths and all that, but going back, I call a buckeye. You wrap a dollar around it and put it on your person and it brings money. Another thing, I gave you one here. This is, well, the one you want to deal with is this one here. This is the goddess Lakshmi. I put this in your fold out. This is the goddess, huh?
And also take the money oil and rub it.
Oh, there's some stuff called money. They sell all that down there.
Yeah.
Money oil, court case oil. Yeah, niggas need that shit, much as niggas do it. They got all that shit down there. That's still a magic stuff.
Downtown, what?
Mitchell Street, I don't know the name of that street.
It's near Underground, right?
Mitchell, I think is that Pryor Street? Let me see. Okay, I'll tell you what street it is. There's the street right behind the one that they catch the bus. There's Alabama and there's Pryor.
Right. The site. Right here.
Northside Street. I think it's Pryor.
Yeah, it's right after Peach Street.
Right. When you're on P Street, you go around the next block, and that's the block.
Yeah, Miller's Rexall Drugstore. I think that's Pryor Street. In several ways.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Several ways. You might the plane get delayed based on weather. Well, that's spirits to do that. You see. So now going back to your question, once you set up an environment, pretty soon you will just know they're around based on the essence and certain things that might happen. Let me give you an example. They got a temple over in an island called Java, and there's a temple called Borobudur. And on this temple wall, they got the history of slavery in both that and the temple of Angkor Wat in Cambodia. I got a tape on this shit, Africans and Asians.
Yeah.
And so I did a whole lot of work on the Angkor Wat stuff, not knowing it was on his tape. I watched his tape about a year earlier, but my research would led me to Angkor Wat in Cambodia, Vietnam. Then I was going to this temple called Borobudur on the island of Java in the south in Indonesia. So I did a lecture in Chicago last weekend, and a week ago today, I sat down. I told you I got to go back and get this book. It cost about $75. I got to find this book. It costs $125. I said, but I got to break down and get it because these pictures you get, these books. This book here is now maybe $300 just to get these type of things. This book here is $300 just to get these. You see, those pictures of Lakshmi, that book is about $200-300. So what happened is this. I went to this store in Chicago and I found the book. The book was $175, $125 new. It was $75 used. I said, damn, I wish I could And I opened, I said, well, the line is a little cracked. I said, I wish he could take something off this book. And just then he walked by and he said, yeah, man, I can't sell that book. He said, look, it's separated from the cover. I'm like, you can't. He said, well, I can just give it to you half price of $35. I said, sold. Now, I knew damn well when I took that book off that shelf, that book was nothing wrong with it. Later on, when I got that thing, it was the god Shiva that came forth and said, I fucked the book up so you could get it, because there's some stuff up in there that I need. So what I'm trying to give you examples of how prosperity also works. You see what I'm saying on that particular level. on that particular level. That's how the prosperity thing also works. And we're going to get in a whole lot of things. So let's post some libation, because the day is a very powerful day. We got a lot of books and stuff like that. We got a lot of books that we got to give to people. And like I said, the book list is some of the selection. And we'll go through some more books that you can add to that book list, and I probably update the book list, the book list. But I want to pour some libations right quick. Okay, pouring the libations changes the energy in the room, it changes the energy in your house, and these particular entities are no different than formulas. So when you pour these libations and stuff, it is for protection, but it's also drawing out the energy from the inside of you when you pour the libations. That's the reason why we pour libations. Be sure to note, and we'll go get into this on whatever. We're not talking about moralists. Most of the moralistic things was the ancient Romans, the Hebrews, and later on the Islam, which is interesting here because, and it makes common sense that they said that the Quran was put together by the Jews. Now, the reason why we say that is well, if you know anything about ancient texts, if it wasn't put by them, why the first 5 books of Moses end up in the Bible and the Quran? You understand what I'm saying? If it was a new book, it wouldn't have those, because a lot of ancient texts floating around. Why the first 5 books of Moses end up in those 2 things? So that means we're talking about a political thing to further a doctrine throughout that land. Very key. They're also supposedly inspired by God. Well, it depends on what you understand based on that, or what do they mean by that. But whenever you pour the libations to these entities, you acquiesce a certain amount of power. Now the key here is when you humble yourself and not arrogant, it's never to humble yourself to a deity. You humble yourself so that you allow your soul time to access itself, or you allow your soul time to express itself. So what happens is this here. Most of us, we function based on ego, which is the illusionary self that is fooled into thinking that it is real. But it's only an illusion. The soul is on the inside of us, sleep. So most people don't exist. Their souls are asleep. The reason why you are here is because your souls have just woke up. So we're like in a daze period, and we're searching to find ourselves. So the more and more you neutralize the ego with the humility, it's not humbling yourself to God above. It's humbling yourself so that you give your soul inside an opportunity to wake up and to know itself. That's the whole deal based on the ego thing. You see, based on the ego. And so, and you do this by rooting out and asking yourself the question, well, why am I here? Why am I doing this? If I'm doing this for some type of self-aggrandizement, some type of pleasure based on entertainment, because I want a new form of something to appease myself with or to show off with, or am I doing this because I generally want to know the truth and want to get to the end of why is it the way the world is the way it is? Like they said in the Matrix, you always knew something was wrong with the world. You just didn't know why. So in so many words, that is your soul saying, I want to know myself. So you humble yourself by neutralizing your ego. So that so your soul gets to know itself. There's several techniques and stuff on this. And one of the things is, so the first thing you got to do here is you have to basically, because I know some of the people here, and this is very, very basic, some of the people here have shortcomings because of family. Right now, your family, if there's something fucked up in your life, it's because you got some family somewhere with some kind of thing, you trying to live up to something with somebody else. In the spirit world, what you call your family is not really your family at all. See, what happens is this, if these souls get down here through choosing a certain path, a certain vessel to come through. Once it gets down here, they are your family in the rearing stages. Once you are grown, they no longer are your family anymore. That's why you can be conscious and trying to do some stuff and your family don't want to hear it. You see what I'm saying? They're not your family anymore like you think. You have no relationship with them. Certain things happen also too. Some souls come down here to teach the parents. And some souls come down here to get taught some type of lesson by the parent. But when you become enlightened, you are a star child, which means in so many words, you're not even related to those people. You see what I'm saying? Every now and then you'll get a family where you get 2 or 3 people that's conscious. I got 2 brothers that's conscious. And disconscious. My mama is conscious if she hear it from my youngest brother. She didn't want to hear shit I got to tell her. But I'm just trying to say, hell, there is there's questionable even in a conscious family. And then most of the people, you might be the only person in that family that's conscious. But it means in actuality, what we're talking about here is being an individual. In the particular aspect is your path is unique to you. And I'm going ahead of myself now. So you pour these libations, these are to the certain entities, but these particular entities are not for you to venerate or worship. These entities are given power. And in so many words, the power is being harnessed from you. And in so many words, they are empowering you or opening up the centers inside of you. So the gods is 160 something chakras. And there's 160 something pantheon or whatever, or multiple things. You're only calling on the energy centers within yourself. You are the vessel that's having this experience. You see what I'm saying? Y'all get where I'm coming from? Any more questions before we go into question and answer right quick? Before we go into the libation? Okay, let's do the libation. Now, go ahead. Yeah, good.
If you can't find a Creole, is there anything else you can use?
What you got? What you get?
As far as
Yeah, you can use. Yeah, you can use.
I would say regular.
Just regular.
Regular cleansing, yeah.
I know. We'll just start with the sage. Bring in the sage.
Oh yeah, sage and frankincense, myrrh.
Frankincense and myrrh, clean out the thing. Sage.
Yeah.
And also you can also use this. Now this is different. Now this says rich and rare. Let's just start with this, how you make an elixir. The art of distillation, or the art of alcohol, came up to Europe by the Moors. The Moors got this science out of Egypt. It came out of the mystery schools of Tahuti, which gives you the alchemy. Alchemy is the study of all the elements in the universe. So alchemy, you get the word chemistry comes from alchemy, because chemistry, chem. But alchemy is the high art of ancient chemistry. That's why anybody in that motherfucker talking about I'm Osiris and I'm this and I'm doing this kind of shit. He ain't never taught you about alchemy. He ain't talking about ancient chemistry. Let me see if there's that's why I got the book list, because let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. I have to go with the spirit. I know I said I'm gonna do this, but I have to go when the spirit give me shit, that's when I gotta roll with it. Let's see if I put this book down there. Kundalini, see if there's any book, Dictionary of Ancient Deities, which is a must-have. The Emerald Tablet by Dennis William Hauck, Hauck. That's a book on alchemy. He gives you this a historical aspect of alchemy. How it came from Kemet up into Europe and even in the United States, half the shit they be doing rituals is to line up certain things alchemically. The government, the government. The alchemical aspect here is the high art of ancient Kemet. So what is the royal art? Everything they talk about breaks back down to alchemy, which is the study of every particle in the universe that's outside that we have with nature, but also on the inside of the body. And then, okay, then there's some stuff outside of the universe that's outside of universe 8, which is what we are in. Universe 8. We talk about universe B. So they'll tell you something like comets and meteors or something that was leftover particles formed that was left behind after creation. Well, the great mystery here is inside of our bodies, because we are the ancient entities. We got some stuff on the inside of us that is outside of this known universe. And that's what melanin is. Because there's universe A and universe B. There's a sister. There's several things, but you want to get, what's the sister? Her name is, you look at, her name is, there's a book, I think it's on there, I think it's called The Modern Sex Magic. But get that book, Modern Sex Magic. And in the back of that book, there's a woman talking about orgasmic magic. Orgasmic magic in there. We're going to go into some of that today. Modern sex magic. And in there she's talking about going between universe A and universe B. Universe B. Universe B is the other side. That's what we slip into. In the universe, and even outside of the universe is inside of our body. We're the ones that have that dimension inside of us. We'll go into that in a few minutes, what I'm talking about here. Y'all all right? So now, when you pour the libations, you line up those particular frequencies. Now, what this is made up of is this here. So they understood the art of alchemy, the Moors that came out, it was nothing but Egyptian priests. And so the alcohol that they taught, the distillation that they taught the Europeans was a more holistic part. Still alcohol, what the Europeans did to come out cheap or whatever, they had what is called their fermentation, where they split up certain grains and stuff and made vodka one here, gin one thing here, bourbon one thing here, scotch one thing here. Whereas the ancient one is those particular distillation is based on light and dark. So listen to what I did here. So I went and bought some R&R. This is a rich and rare Canadian imported rum, Canadian imported whiskey. And what I did is I'll go in and I would mix this with some white rum back together. Therefore, the entities will come. And so when I mixed it and made it back into my elixir, this stuff can heal. So let me give you an example. I had some entities try to strike me or whatever, and we're gonna get to the other side too, as far as some ones that don't want us to rise. I'll get into that. But in so many words, they messed my whole mouth up. And so some of the entities came through and said, mix the light and dark. They said, you guys, what you got? I said, well, I got some gin and I got some scotch. So mix that shit together. And so what happened was it was a conduit. So when I mix it together with the alcohol, what it is those spirits came up in there and they repaired my mouth better than what it was 20 years ago. Everything in your body can be healed. You can take the long way with herbs and the diet and all this type of thing. But then again, you can go with some high magic and heal your shit and stuff like that and all. So certain ways to heal certain things also. So what I did was, this is a mixture. This is called elixir. We'll get into the elixir also as far as for magic. But anytime you buy any alcohol and stuff, like any high-end shit like cognac and all that old stuff, they drink the hell out of it. And that tequila. What's the one of that one they like? Cuervo. You see what I'm saying? So this is just a conduit to bring those spirits through. So that's how that works. And there ain't been no religious organization that didn't do it. Like I said, they even did it up until the early 1900s until Welch's came up with Welch's grape juice. And then they start having wine, you see what I'm saying, in the regular churches. So alcohol is all, even at the Holy Roller Church, up until the 1800s, they had damn wine. You see what I'm saying? At least, so that's just a part of the spirit life, so. Now this also, if you say, if you can have Creole, you can also hook your house up by splitting four elements, also bring these things through. Okay, let's start out. But since the day is a day of Lakshmi and the goddesses of love, we'll start off with them. So the people that know what I'm talking about. Lakshmi, Ashe. Ashe means power. And several other things, but one of the things is basically means power. Lakshmi, Ashe. Vishnu, Ashe. Venus, Ashe. Aphrodite, Ashe. Astarte, Ashe. Ishtar, Ashe. Anana, Ashe. Erzuli, Ashe. Devawedo, Ashe. Edawedo, Ashe. Ganesha, Ashe. Brahma, Ashe. Shiva, Ashe. Sarasvati, Ashe. Durga, Ashe. Give me some 9 Ashes. Pavati, Ashe. Vincho Swasa, Ashe. Rama, Ashe. Krishna, Ashe. Radha, Ashe. Satika, Ashe. Kali, Ashe. Ganesha, Ashe. Hanuman, Ashe. Garati, Ashe. Tara, Ashe. Durga, Ashe. Lalita, Ashe. Yama, Ashe. Sita, Ashe. Rama, Ashe. These are Native American spirits that came earth, wind, fire, air, water, ether. That came through on election day. I guess they needed to come through to balance out something. Yakaipa, Ashe. Bozan, Ashe. Yavez, Ashe. Freeman, Ashe. Bimrig, Ashe. Kuparini, Ashe. Bilfra, Ashe. Treyanka, Ashe. Puriyanka, Ashe. Lavado, Ashe. Luigi, Ashe. Atama, Ashe. Porowado, Ashe. Ogawadi, Ashe. Leowa, Ashe. Godugo, Ashe. Biwasta, Ashe. Yamagi, Ashe. Brigida, Ashe. Segun, Ashe. Keku, Ashe. Haniel, Ashe. Tarek, Ashe. Hanai, Ashe. Arun, Ashe. Aduma, Ashe. Joseph Harris, Ashe. Artemis, Ashe. Athena, Ashe. Diana, Ashe. Apollo, Ashe. This is going right along. We got Ishtar, Ashe. Otincha, Ashe. Tiesha, Ashe. Sheola, Ashe. Shumala, Ashe. Omagumu, Ashe. Alcala, Ashe. Lokeo, Ashe. Tacumbo, Ashe. Lalila, Ashe. Owalensu, Ashe. Ishtar, Ashe. Monu, Ashe. Noku, Ashe. Mana, Ashe. Imatu, Ashe. Titi, Ashe. Joba, Ashe. Babylonia, Ashe. Aya, Ashe. Oya, Ayo, Ashe. Amalek, Ashe. Drakon, Ashe. Notorio, Ashe. Mona, Ashe. Neptune, Ashe. Litu, Ashe. Hello, Ashe. Teli, Ashe. Exandi, Ashe. Kasimbo, Ashe. Nisaba, Ashe.
All right, we're gonna skip this part, but we gotta say Ashe to the Great Spirit. He usually shout out American joints. He usually it. But we gonna shout out America though. Shout out Kula. Shout out the Corn Mother. You know what I mean? We got some American guys. We ain't tripping. Hit the thumbs up if y'all having fun, if y'all enjoying this. Y'all want me to keep going. We're gonna get into a discussion after this. But it's in America, Camelot. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Got the backdrop going. So we're gonna get back into it. Let's go, Bobby.
Ukulu, Nakuba, Umbelaga, Umbaba, Uwawa, Labu, Bajas, Naini, Heroes, Papa Christ, Baby Krishna, Baby Buddha, Guade. Just a few more, y'all. I know that's strenuous, but you know, I gotta do this at least 3 times a month. If I don't do them every day in the house. Mama, that's what it is. You got it there. Let's see if there's any more. I think that'll do for right now. 1, 2, 3 family members: the Hemmit family, Shaw family, Davis family. Start calling out your family members. This fast on. Ashe, 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 Ashe. So, okay then. So, get that out of the God energy. Now, go into. Is this thinking up a glare?
Yeah, look at
You have to see.
I can see that.
Yeah, you can put it down some. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah. It's good. It's great. Give me a question.
I heard you say, Lucifer as one of the names that we said.
Exactly.
Who exactly is that?
Lucifer means the pineal gland. Remember, one man's devil is another man's god. The Egyptians, one that you gotta take that and roll that. Yeah, that way. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you still see that? I don't want it too dark now.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. One man's devil is another man's god. What they call satanic is the gods of yesterday. That means that you got one group of people that came in, and it is customary in the ancient world, if you got a succeeding religion that's coming after the preceding spiritual system, is you always name the other one gods and goddesses the devil. So Lucifer just means light bringer, and the light bringer is the pineal gland. That's why even in the Bible, that's why the ancient priests understood that the neophyte or the common day people, they got moralism, mores and different things. So you don't bump into nothing. You gotta have a strict code of ethics. Most of those ethics that they had was basically political. Those things went along with civilization. They went along with the people. So in so many words, they would take moralistic things that would be codes and ethics to survive in the actual civilization, survive in the actual community, and they would encode it into these particular sacred texts. And over the years, the people started thinking that these things actually had something to do with God. And so moralism has very little to do with spiritualism. Let me give you an example. The modern day Christians say when they study the ancient texts, yeah, whatever you got to do. You got to turn it up a little bit. It's a little too dark. Just to do a little, it's a little too dark. I just want to take a little bit, but you can still take some of that. Yeah. Let me know when it brightens up.
You can close it.
Oh.
You said that.
Yeah, close it. Make it darker. There you go. That's
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see you trying. Okay. Man, what was my thought? Okay.
Modern day Christians.
The modern day Christians. Was something I was getting ready to say about moralism. Okay. As far as moralism goes, you would have one is set in motion for behavior. It has very little to do with spirituality. Spirituality is something totally different. The modern day Christians say when they look at ancient texts from the ancient world, when we talk about ancient world, we talk about before 2,000 years, before what is religions. Religions are a new form of worship. Religions only are about 2,000 years old. Before then, they had educational systems, which included a whole spiritual ecology also. So when they looked into the ancient world, they said these people didn't have moralism. No, they didn't have moralism. They were dealing with religious things. Moralism has something to do with your rites of passage based on how you was raised. So the Africans went through a rites of passage. And in their rites of passage, based on their culture and customs, they learned certain things was taboo that you just didn't do. You see what I'm saying? That coincided with society. Well, like incest and different things like that. Now, they had people that didn't even have a jailhouse. Right. Why? Because murder was taboo for most of the part. You see, most people didn't get murdered unless they had invasions where people came in and killed them. But as far as a society, it was taboo. You see, it's hard for us to think of that because we've been living with a person. We've been living in civilized barbarism. It's not civilization, it's civilized barbarism. There's a difference. You see what I'm saying? So, even John Henry Clark took a bunch of children over to Africa in the 80s, and they played with the African children. It might be a little different now because they done had some shit that done went on over there with the government and put Africans against Africans. But I think it was in the 80s, maybe in the 70s or the 80s. They played with African children for 3 months. It was little children. He took them over there and they played. They said, after that, he said, what happened that was different than America the whole time you was playing. They came and they couldn't figure it out. He said, you've been over here for 3 months playing with these children, and the entire 3 months you didn't have one fight. So it's possible that you could have a civilization where certain things, you understand what I'm saying, is not synonymous, are not prevalent in your civilization because you understand what I'm saying? Because you have a rites of passage and a customs and culture that don't produce that. You understand what I'm saying? So in this particular case, you didn't have need for behavioral systems encoded into a religion. So therefore you could be about the level of religion, or no, of spirituality. You see, so in so many words, when you really think about it, we have been cheated out of spirituality because so much of what we deal with in religion is based on how you behave. And spirituality have nothing to do with that. You understand what I'm saying? So one is a political system that was devised by a group of people that want to keep a control over people in a certain society. And the other one is a spiritual system, which has nothing to do with what you do morally or social behavior, because you learned that from growing up in your society. You understand? When you get this, understand this particular part. Spirit told us that those books came about because they knew prophecy. They knew that the white man was coming out of an ice box and coming out of a cave. They didn't have no form of a civilization and behavior. And he would need a guidebook to go about just to learn how to be human. So therefore, a lot of this stuff was encoded into the Bible, which makes sense to me because look what he did to the world with the damn Bible. Can you imagine what this beast would do if he didn't have no code of ethics? Hell, he damn near broke every law known to man on the planet to this day with the Bible. As a matter of fact, the devil in the book don't even go with the white man because the devil in the book is a damn Mickey Mouse. They got to create a new mythological character to deal with this white boy because we ain't never had nothing in mythology to this day to describe what diabolical shit this motherfucker do. You name it. You understand what I'm saying? You name it. 90% of the foods you eat on the planet now is all artificial. You see what I'm saying? And don't fuck around no more and go to these Japanese and Chinese restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
Those are cats and rats.
Yes, sir.
Those are rats. That's a whole nother story. I got a lecture on that shit recently. Those are rats they eat. The Mexicans came over and they know how to make a rat as big as a chicken. Mexicans now work for the Chinese, and they started, and so what it is a cut. So they and the CDC got in on it. And so what they start doing is they started serving rats. It's a delicacy over there. Where they are. If it's in China, if it moves, they eat it. That's on National Geographic. So they start serving rats, and the CDC say, good, serve them to niggers. And in the black, and if you go to the underground, you'll see, if you go to the underground now, you'll see on the food court, you'll see everybody with a toothpick. Used to be one Chinese, Japanese place with a toothpick. Now everybody got toothpick. You can walk around the food court and eat the food, and by the time you get to the end of the food court, you can be full. Yeah. That's because most of that shit is rat. Because they make them as big as chickens now. The CDC is in on it too to see what they do. Get the movie Demolition Man. It was eating rat birds. They say, you see any cows around here? Now the reason why I know, I just did a lecture 2 weeks ago in Columbia, South Carolina, and the sister said they was on the news telling niggas not to kill these rats because they got rats now running around as big as dogs and cats. Oh, because the Mexicans is done, the Mexicans are everywhere, and they know how to feed them to make them big. And they say, well, don't feed them. They say, because the Mexicans use them for their chili and their tacos. That's why Taco Bell was all up in damn Demolition Man. And so I said, wait a minute, hold on. Why did the damn news come on? NBC News down in Columbia, South Carolina, Channel 10 will come on and say, don't poison the rats because the Mexicans use them for chili and food. Instead of telling the damn Mexicans, look, you motherfuckers don't be eating no rats because these niggas is gonna poison them. But it was the other way around. That's because they're serving them shits in the restaurants too. They don't want people to get killed. The wrong people walking in and get a poison rat. That's what I'm trying to say. In the Asian food, where you got all that shit chopped up, and since everything tastes like chicken anyway,
There you go. There you go.
don't eat no motherfucking. I'll tell you, don't eat none of that Asian food, man. Because that shit and the soy products now, they got a synthetic, it's called genetically modified soybean, and it shuts down melanin.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But the point I was making was here is that white man needed the Bible in a code book just to learn how to behave, because he didn't have the behavior. And look what the motherfucker did with the book. You know what I'm saying? We got the land, he got the Bible, now we got the Bible and he got the land. And that's been the world supremacy all over. And that's why this Pope down was great. Because the papacy has been one of the worst realms and even sanctioned slavery. You see what I'm saying?
He's a Nazi too.
And the new one is a doggone Nazi.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The old one helped smuggle, gave the Sinai pills supposedly to Hitler, but we don't even know that because they can't find Hitler's body. They say Hitler died in the 50s or something. They smuggled him out of there. And they said on the History Channel they had so many lookalikes.
And just to share with you, when I was in Germany, this girl I was with at the time, her and her brother told me that Hitler was staying in California.
I would agree because Hitler was a part of cult society. The biggest people in the occult in America at that particular time was the people over out in California. Out in California. That's why the Master Farad Muhammad, whatever it was, which was a real person actually, he was out in California before he went to, and he was out there teaching some white folks out in one of the schools out in California, and he used them to finance his trip, and he doubled back and went to down New York, went to Detroit, and started teaching the black people there. And the white folks was trying to kill his ass because he used their money to get over there to teach them. He taught them for a couple of years, and then they hauled ass over here because everybody was looking for a spiritual master from the east, and he used them to get over here at one of them occult societies and stuff like that in California, and then haul ass to Detroit. And once they found out when Elijah Muhammad surfaced, and they found out when they tracked him, they had a worldwide manhunt. When the government tracked him, they found out he was in Detroit. He had taught these black people for 3 years, and then they was trying to kill his ass. And that's what that shit was about. So yeah, California was real big based on that. You're right. Hitler survived that whole thing. Hitler survived that type of stuff. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. It's all that's what we're here for.
When you said I was we were going through libation, and I was going when you said Lucifer, I went because in my mind immediately I went serious. So you didn't say Satan, you didn't say Satan.
Well, no, even that.
But you went to Gorgon, you went to Medusa, you went to Pegasus, which is a flying horse.
Yeah, Pegasus, all that.
And then you didn't say Jesus, but you said Athena and you said Artemis, I think, and But basically, but Jesus is Greek for God Zeus, and you didn't. Jesus. And you didn't introduce.
I didn't do Zeus because Zeus is a dinner. We're gonna get into that in a few minutes, but I want to piggyback off of what you said here. Two things. In the Bible, Lucifer appears in Genesis as a morning star. By the time you get to Revelation, Jesus is the morning star.
Right, that's true.
Is the morning star.
So
the mystery here is
that's why I say
right. See, if you're talking about formula, see, even the damn priest that put this together understood this. Okay, you look at this. Two incidents, and one is the same Jesus story. They say that Job wrestled with the angel all night, and in daybreak, Jacob wrestled with the angel all night, and in daybreak, he saw the face of God, which was called what? Pineal gland. pineal. Pineal in Kemet is called Heru, light. Heru in Kemet is called great face. Heru in Greek is called hero, which means what? The great face, face of God. So hero, Heru is face of God. You see what I'm saying? Pineal is the great face of God. You see what I'm saying? Now, Jesus conquers Satan. When you conquer something, it's not talking about a physical fight. When you conquer something, you synthesize. So you say, I have conquered mathematics. You understand what I'm saying? Satan in the darkness is the ancient primordial realm that he doesn't know about because he hadn't gone through it. So it's seen as evil, prime evil. It's just those mysteries, or it's just those energies that are dormant that you don't know anything about it. When you conquer it, you become it or you synthesize it. So in so many words, what this is talking about, Old Testament, New Testament, old body, new body. The ancient priests, okay, now let's get this right. The ancient priests understood this thing as being not good and evil, but different formulas. Now, so to break this down, the ancient priests, you got your exoteric religions, and you have the esoteric spirituality. The exoteric Christianity is Christianity, you know, Jesus and on the cross and all that. The esoteric Christianity is Gnosticism. That's where it came from, because it came out of the Egyptians had this thing in Coptic Egypt. They even had a Jesus there. And the Romans took their stuff, made the New Testament out of these Gnostic texts, and then killed off the Gnostics. See, when the Gnostics said, hey, wait a minute, we got this Jesus, and there ain't no man walking around no damn Jerusalem or no Rome with no Herod and all that shit. It's talking about Horus and the end of this and all this, and they said, kill them motherfuckers off. You see what I'm saying? The esoteric Hebrew is the Torah, the laws of Moses, and all that lie. The exoteric is Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic system, the tree of life. The esoteric Islam is the Islam and Moses, and the angel spoke to Gabriel, but to Muhammad, and Muhammad was illiterate till the day he died. How the fuck you gonna get a Quran from a motherfucker that was illiterate till the day he died? Which was written by a Jew and all that. But Bilal, actually, they say the slave, which actually wrote it. I'm on these planes, and they got this recycled air with these crackers. And so every time I get off one, I have to, you got to tell them spirits, right? Knock that shit out. Okay, yeah, go ahead, cut it off. We go. Chemtrails out there you got to watch out for. We went out yesterday, and they must have dropped something called Western California. Said they dropped something in the sky and got everybody coughing. We went out yesterday, and last night when I got out, I said something is wrong. We did, something is wrong. And didn't do anything, I had on this wool shirt, so I knew it wasn't changing the weather. And it's the chemtrails out there. They dropping some stuff from the sky, and all it's very key. So I went and got some cough syrup. See what that is. Well, shit. You want stuff to work. Now, okay. Now, let me, first of all, I've been in the spirit realm for the last 15 years, last 13 years. It's been I've been in the spirit realm for 15 years. Hell, it was about 9 years before I even knew I was in it. So 5 years, I didn't even know that I was in it. You see what I'm saying? And I know about the spirit realm. And that's why I can tell you, not just based on ample study, which is key too, because because I studied for 10 years on different systems before I even got into the damn zone. Now, first part of my study for the first 10 years of it was to access all of this esoteric information. And I went to the bookstore damn near every day and numerous amounts of things. But since 2000, I've been in the spirit realm as far as a crossover into the particular realm. Now, I know all about the whole alien thing and all this type of thing, but ain't no green looking people out here coming. Ain't nobody being abducted. The people that's being abducted, that's European phenomenon, and that's the United States government. There's a book, Man-Made UFOs, from 1947 to 1994. That's when the book came out. And in so many words, there's two kinds of UFOs, or two kinds of spacecraft. The things we deal with are not physical, never were and never will be. The things that are physical that abduct people started from Area 51, and that is the United States government and the powers that be. Think about it. Why in the hell would somebody have the kind of technology to get here light years away, abduct somebody? They pretty much know. And my point is this here. It's interesting here, all this UFO phenomenon, we don't never see that shit in the ghetto. You don't have no reports of no black people being abducted damn near. If they are, you get one or two. Like I knew one black woman that was the government fucking with her. But all these white folks being abducted, and this is when you really ask this question. If all this abduction going on and all this UFO phenomenon, what they talking about, why are they hitting the black community? Black people walking around oblivious to the information.
You know, when people get abducted, they don't come back in good spirits.
No, man, listen to me, man. Now look, you asked me to come here. Now you can deal with spookism, or you can deal with straight up scholarship and straight up experience. There is no aliens out in the universe. It's irrational. Think about this. I want you to think of this is information, but let me try to explain something to you. Now just listen to me. It is irrational. Let me explain something to you, brother. Let me show you something. You Nuwabian, right?
I'm a brother.
Well, are you Nuwabian?
Yeah, we all Nuwabians.
And I'm going to show you something when I'm talking about mind control. To get to the bottom of this. Since I got in the car with you, and since you've been sitting here, you have asked me to document my sources. You ain't dare ask Dr. York not once to document his damn sources. You took his shit as face value.
You can't say that. But I don't
now, come on, man, come on now. You took his shit as face value because the simple fact is there ain't no bibliography in the back of his books.
That's not true. You got stuff.
Majority of that shit, man, come off the dumb shit.
I'm telling you.
Majority of that stuff, because I've been knowing this man long before you even, when Egypt was evil in 1990, with the Leviathan books from 1990. It's the same man that attacked Dr. Ben in 1990, when Egypt was evil and the ark was a symbol of the devil. Now, I ain't got to say you can get all his Leviathan books in 1990.
But it depends on what school you be going through, though. Yeah.
Man, look, this what I'm trying to say is this, look. Now, check it out now. You can deal with scholarship. You can deal with scholarship. And you can deal with the real shit, and you can stay in the fantasy world. Now, the choice is yours. You see what I'm saying? Now, the choice is yours. Because I've been out here long goddamn time, and the government been knowing about me for years, but they don't want to fuck with me. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to fuck with me. You see what I'm saying? Harvard, the government received my information in 1994. They got all my shit. And Harvard came, Yale came, Dartmouth, and all these colleges started calling me to come lecture. I already know what that was. Because the same time, was the same Miles College, they came, Miles, or not Miles, it was King's College, they came and got College to come up there, and then attack him and the whole congressional shit. So I'm trying to say, it ain't no big deal. I'm just trying to say, the reason why they don't fuck with me because they don't want to fuck with me. Now I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to say this here. This is what I'm trying to tell you. The majority of that shit ain't got no fucking bibliography. You see what I'm saying? They got no doggone bibliography. And what I'm trying to say here, there's a progression of information. Now you can learn the information, and that's going to take you to the other thing, or you can push your foot around and believe shit. It's the difference between your belief system and what's real. Now, just rational alone, why the hell would somebody come down here, bypass majority of people in the ghetto, which is the people who are the original people and the indigenous people, and go straight to some crackers and abduct them and do all this kind of work with them? You see what I'm saying? My point here is, if you got that kind of technology, and it is proven we got the knowledge to know every science of what in the world. If we got that kind of technology, why the fuck we gonna come and abduct somebody to experiment on them? We supposed to already know that.
You know
what I'm trying to say here, that's government hoax. There are no physical UFOs. Now there are vessels out there, but they're not spiritual. They're not physical. They are spiritual. And the things that we are dealing with are spiritual. I can show them to you tonight. They're out there if you want to see them. I can show you these things tonight, but they're not no tin cans. That's government. All that UFO information that you're getting and stuff, most of those things are round spacecraft created from Area 51 since 1947. So what has happened is this. You got a conspiracy going on. I just want to say this one thing. You got spiritual things that is out there coming from other dimensions other than planets. It's a difference. Planet hell, Sirius takes you 8 light years to get from, and that's one of the closest one in the fall of our solar system. You see what I'm saying? Hell, we can't even go to motherfucking California. We can't go across town without running out of gas. So the cracker can't even produce no fuel that could take us from one planet to the other. Hell, he ain't never even been to the goddamn moon. That's fake. They created that right out in Hollywood. It's even in the movie Diamonds Are Forever. Sean Connery's last movie before he came back in 83, in his last movie as James Bond. They hoped that was a whole hoax. And everybody in that Apollo program from 1961, the majority of people are dead. They faked all of that type of stuff. My point here is this. Now try to understand this type of thing. The physical side of the UFOs, what it was, there was a whole spiritual side that people had been seeing things all over the world that they were going to have to answer to. So the government decided to come in with the physical stuff, start abducting people, have the same little old green bug-eyed suits. Now the green bug-eyed suits, if you get the movie Fire in the Sky and go to the, they was on the ship, they showed a closet full of the suits hanging up. So when these people report seeing the same thing, those are suits that these people get into, and they drug these people all up, and they see the same images. The real image that came from Aleister Crowley's vision of Lamb that he got in 1919 at Greenwich Village up in New York City, and they took that picture of Lamb. If I got some pictures of Lamb. They took that picture of Lamb and put the bug eyes and been seeing the same little shit over and over again. That is government. That is government. You see what I'm saying? My point here is, I deal with the same spirit traps. I got one follow me all the time. It's been following me the whole time. The other week I was on the plane and the plane dipped. Everybody kind of jumped, and I looked outside and the ship was right out there. But I know what that ship is. It ain't no physical ship with no bug-eyed people from no other planet. It's no different. Even your boy Pat Robertson. You got to understand these crackers that run this world. The ones that's on TV. They don't run this world for not knowing. Even Pat Robertson, when Independence Day came out, he said the people are looking for this physical bullshit. See, this is when, he do all that Jesus shit, but then he had to come on and he started dropping. Because cracker don't put no cracker, got a whole network if he ain't down with the Illuminati and all that shit. He do the Jesus shit to keep motherfuckers dead. You see what I'm saying? He came in and said, these motherfuckers thinking it's physical ships out here. He said, but there are spacecraft and there are aliens. But he said this, but they are angels. They are entities. There was a book called Thompson put out called Angels and Aliens back here in the early 90s. You still might be able to get it. But the thing about it here is this here. Now you talking about that thing out there, that The Michael Talbot's book, The Holographic Universe, and he's getting it from the occult realms. It's all explained in the Kabbalistic system, which came off the Temple of Komombo in Egypt and the Temple of Dendera in Kemet. You see what I'm saying? Temple of Dendera in Kemet. See, this is what I say. You ought to be able to trace certain things back to when your people were speaking and make the analogy. Then these crackers and new motherfuckers coming up with this new shit that you can't find. Right here is the same concept of the UFO, where you see these gods among the boat. You see that all over Kemet, especially the Temple of Dendera. The gods among the boat. Now, this is the key on that, is this. These gods are nothing but components of us, so that means that we are connected with the ships. I'm gonna get into all that type of thing, because I gave you something in your package that looked like this. You will see something in your package. See, this is based on scholarship. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying you can fool around with the, what's going on.
Now, what about things like the Dogon tribe? What about things like the What about the Dogon tribe talks about what they call the Nomos?
The Nomos. I got an extensive study on that. My first take was on the Dogon.
They talk about the Ark and the Ark.
Yeah, Nomos Ark.
And then what about the ancient Tamarans, where they talk about the different troglodytes or the reptilian beings? Or what do they talk about?
Okay, look. All right, we're gonna get into all that. That's good stuff.
About the Zulu, how about the Zulu?
Wait a minute.
What about Shaka Zulu?
You fucking with the master. I can
What about the
I'm
100
getting ready
billion
to say.
stars in the stars?
Wait a minute. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Listen to me. I just said, I didn't say that there weren't aliens in spacecraft. I said that they weren't physical. No. Wait a minute, hold on. What I'm trying to say is this. Now listen to me. Now go back. Everything I just said, didn't I just show a picture? Y'all gotta listen to what I'm saying here.
That's
Just listen to me.
though. I feel you.
Listen, I just said, I didn't say that there were spacecraft, and hey, no, you're gonna get this. I gave him one. But I'm talking about there's a yantra in there. Let me know what you think. There's a picture that's folded up.
Oh, okay.
Right here. This thing right here.
Okay.
This is called a Sri yantra. Later on, you know it as the Mandela in Tibet. You know the Mandela in Tibet. Now, let me give you some example. This is where we get trapped. In Kemet and around the world, they call the Nagars in Asia, in India. They call the Uraeus crown in Kemet. You see the serpent all over the world. Now you got a bunch of new niggas come up like David Icke and a bunch of people telling you that they are physical reptilians, and that was a cloak. That was a whole government setup. Let me explain this shit to you. The reptilian people mean the people of the Uraeus crown, which means the people who have full access to the Kundalini energy. That's us. That's what it's talking about. Hell, even in science, they talk about a reptilian brain and all of this type of thing, which is talking about cerebral cortex. It's the people with the full access to the Kundalini energy inside of us. Now then you get, this shit started with Zachariah Sitchin. Zachariah Sitchin works for the Jews. The Jews in 1978 said, look, we realize now that the whole Egyptology and all this type of stuff is getting away from the branch of Hebrew that came out of Kemet, and now we must come in, and we must not only did we try to carve out a history for ourselves with this, with Judaism, now we got to go into this metaphysical thing, and we got to carve out another ancient metaphysical history, and they chose the main scholar, Zachariah Sitchin. And all of a sudden, what used to be the reptilian, which was talking about the Uraeus crown and the serpentine crown, which was the Kundalini race and the full access to the Kundalini race, all of a sudden start becoming physical reptilian beings.
Yeah, physical reptilian beings on the wall of Egypt.
They got ships on the wall of Egypt.
I didn't say, you all not getting this thing, what I'm saying.
I'm
saying that is symbology.
No, we don't get it.
Okay.
You think?
You ain't telling me shit about Egypt, nigga. I studied Egypt for the last fucking 19 years.
No.
On the walls, I tell you all the goddamn temples there. Temple of Como, Temple of Esma, Temple of Denver, Temple of Karnak, Kawari.
So you just,
Old news.
all those.
I'm just trying to say here, I know all of the particular stuff like that. What I'm trying to tell you is this here. Yes, they have ships. Didn't I just show you the bark, the celestial bark with the ship?
No.
I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to tell you is this. It's symbology. See, this is it, what I'm trying to tell you. Now, you want to get into the magical aspect.
That's what
There's two, but just listen to me, because this is all important.
I agree.
See, if you want to be revealed information, you see what I'm saying? You can't flinch at what's coming to you, because there's a wall you got to break through.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? Forget what you know. Break on through to the other side by saying, no, just take what you got and set it to the side and just listen. Then you want to get to the other side I'm trying to show you, but
Go ahead, bro.
you see what I'm saying? Look, now,
Come on with it.
there's reptilian beings on the temple wall, but they don't mean a physical reptilian being. They are symbology. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about. The neophyte comes up, and they are trained that everything is based on the apparent, literal. The priest will come up and go, well, you was thinking it that way. That's the first level of this. But in so many words, it's esoteric, which means these shits are not literal. They are components on the inside of the constitution of your physical body and on the inside of you. There's no difference between the ships and the damn chakras. Now here's a mantra. This is the damn spaceship right here. This is the supreme mantra. Before you get Mandelas in Tibet, you get the mantras or the yantras in Hindu. Right in the middle here, you have what is called the Bindu seed. The Bindu seed is the pineal gland and the clitoris and the G-spot in the woman. You see what I'm saying? These are all esoteric terminology. They didn't have no fucking literal reptilians, or you would see the literal reptilians now. They are symbology. They are symbols. Signs and symbols of primordial man, Albert Churchward. Myth and symbol of ancient Egypt, Runnels and Clark. And the neophyte thinks it is apparent, and that's how you get trapped. And that's why you can't break on through to the other side. Let me give you an example. In the book Sacred Science, E. Schwaller Lubitz, R.A. Schwaller de Lubitz, Sacred Science. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a picture on the temple walls of, I think it's on the temple walls of Luxor, of the Battle of Kadesh. And all the white folks was coming. He's got a picture of whatever the Pharaoh is at this time. It's either Ramesses. The Ramesses covered over King Tut's material. So it's either King Tut in one age, it's Ramesses on down the line where he's in the chariot and he's battling these people.
Right.
They was thinking that the Battle of Kadesh was a historical event.
Okay.
What Schwaller and Lewis did by studying at Luxor Temple for 15 years was they didn't look at the other panel. There's a Battle of Kadesh, and then in the middle of they got a Pharaoh, he's on in his chariot with the horses. And he's got the smiting scenes where he's smiting. Then they got a ripple like this on the wall, and they got a hole in the wall, and then they got some other people in a castle, and they're rejoicing. The people was thinking that this was virtues of civilization, and they didn't realize until Schwaller and Lewis understood, oh shit. The people in the hole in the wall, they ain't even talking about the physical earth. They was talking about another dimension and another realm. But the literal neophytes came in and they was reading it literal. Let me give you an example. See, you want to get to the other side. I got a lot to cover. That's how you got to learn. You want to learn? I'm here to teach you, But you can't, there's a reason why there's a block and a standstill. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why there's a block and a standstill. It's because somebody is reading the shit the wrong way and they're reading it to teach it to a layman on a literal level. So what you think is reptilians on the temple walls is nothing but showing the energy of the Uraeus crown and the serpent energy on the inside of you, which is the Kundalini energy. You see what I'm saying? You see the same stepfathers on the Kabbalah. It ain't up with the same wheels of life and the same ship, but they out there. I can show you these motherfuckers tonight. We got a clear sky. Goddamn, we gonna see some ships tonight. But if you're looking for some physical tin you're not gonna see it.
Yeah, you have to back that one up. I'm gonna wait to see that.
And there's no big problem. Hell, I backed it up with 200 motherfucking people in Brooklyn, New York. I got the damn tape. I was at the slave theater. I said, we get out of here tonight, we gonna see the ship. Now, I was in Brooklyn, New York. This was 2 years after I started. Had I not produced that goddamn ship, I wouldn't have been able to lecture no more.
We want to see the ship.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? I wouldn't have,
I got the video camera.
I wouldn't have been able to lecture no more. But I got another film when I was in Harlem the next night and everybody was being witness. You see, it's just out there, you just don't know what you're looking at. You just gotta know how to spot them. And once you know how to spot them, you see them all the time. You see what I'm saying? Now, the point I'm trying to make here is, it's just like Faulkner. When they started dealing with Kemet, the first thing the people said was, the Egyptians didn't know their religion. This is the arrogance of the Germans. You see what I'm saying? This guy, Adolf Ehrman, the arrogance. It was Faulkner that came around after years and said, hey, look, because what they were seeing contradictions in the text. They were seeing shit that nature that didn't make no sense. They were seeing stuff that is straight out wrong. And Adolf Ehrman said, oh, I get it now. They was purposely building in mistakes inside of the religion because that's how nature is. Anything that is smoothed off and is repetitiously the same is artificial. They was looking at the patterns in the chaos. And they know that there's no blade of grass that grows the same way. So when you go to Rome and Greece, you will see the columns, they're all even. But when you come to some parts in Kemet, they got columns like this, and columns like that. They said, what kind of crazy people is these? No, these people was copying the lotus that grow out of the marshes of the swamps, and none of them grow the same size. You see what I'm saying? No. So the concept here is, you're talking about magic. The first concept of magic here is, never think on the appearance. It's not literal. You see what I'm saying? It's not literal. Now, I done did every damn ritual known to fucking man. And I done had every damn thing show up. But ain't no bug-eyed green people from no other motherfucking planet showing up. So you say, well, wait a minute. We see the planets out there. How you can say they're not real? Well, you see the trees out there. You see the mountains out there. You see the river in the ocean. And based on the matrix, they ain't real either. They're Maya and illusion with the same thing with that universe out there. It's one holographic universe, which is universe A, which is called the petty universe. Universe B is called the real universe that we have been separated from in this thing called creation. You see, creation is a botched job by a subordinate deity that broke away from the great mother. And the Dogon, they call it armor, which is, armor is actually a feminine principle. It's just a matter of the culture, because they're breaking it from Amun Ra, as Diop says. But the Dogon culture, they talk about Ogu broke away, and Ogu was halfway formed in his mother's womb before he tore out the side. Well, in the Gnostic scriptures still coming out of Kemet, Pharaonic thought is this entity, Adaldabra, broke away from his mother before he was formed and went and set up a universe of his own. But because he wasn't formed all the way, he botched the job. So creation is a botched job, that is not really finished yet. Because the spirits had to come in, incarnate into creation, and further it on down the way until it gets to the point where it's finished. So they had to take a bot's job, go in through the stream of incarnations until they alchemically got to the right level to destroy this shit. You see what I'm saying? To destroy it. But it ain't coming from some beings out. That's why they ain't showed up. Because they ain't going to show up. Guess why they ain't going to show up? Because they showed up a couple of millions of years ago, and you the motherfucker sitting in the room. You the goddamn alien.
Yeah.
If you don't understand this shit here, you're wasting your damn time.
And that's the reason why you say as time go on, things change, and it's coming to the point of where we're coming at now.
Did you see the movie X-Men, the first one?
Yeah.
They tell you all of it on the first movie. They said it is talking about a series of mutations. So you can get to a mutation. Now they're talking about us. They said that this process is slow till we bring on a new species. This process is slow. We the only people that have been around long enough to transmutate into a new species. On the DNA inside of us, which you see the staff of Tahuti, with the wings of the Medical Association, the staff of Tahuti, on the DNA and the same caduceus is the same fucking damn mitochondrial DNA inside of us. On that DNA inside of us, if you know anything about melanin and alchemy, melanin is a series of amino acids. And they study the amino acids in us every day. And they know that our amino acids is changing. So this whole shit that was put out by a fucking Zachariah Sitchin about the 12 DNA strand, we follow that old white man shit. That's for white folks in the barotheric gland. The barotheric gland is nothing but the fucking pineal gland. See, they got to play on words. They know that they're DNA, they know they're not the people. You understand what I'm saying? So they would rather make a goddamn excuse about this barotheric gland that these aliens took out of us while we couldn't rise. The barotheric gland is nothing but the pineal gland. And they're talking about them. And the aliens they're talking about is us because we created them. You see what I'm saying? So in so many words, the reptilians, now let me go back to this thing so you be sure on this, because it's a government plot. And see, as you think, is going to be the way you're going to have to unlock these gates. Now, you can play all you want to. I'm just trying to say, look, let me explain something to you. I don't know everybody, most of y'all are Nuwabians. There's nothing wrong with that. He came down to introduce you to some information, to get you to a certain point, so you can go out on your own and become gods on your own. And there's a group of people that was in there that can't go beyond that, but that's all right. They couldn't go beyond it in the first place. There was a group of people, every group out here got a certain amount of gods, and they got a certain amount of people that has to belong to the group. Even in the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad said, we got scientists up in here, and I don't want no more believers. It's right in the damn theology of time. That's when he really started talking this shit. He said, I want gods. But there's a certain group of people that they can only take things face value, and they got to wait on Dr. York. Dr. York, I've even heard from one of the sisters that Dr. York even told the motherfuckers, God damn it, I'm waiting on y'all. He said this shit.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real.
In some of the things, I'm waiting on y'all. Y'all supposed to do it. He was giving the people the things because he understood, okay, that was the group. And that's by way you came, I'm just saying though, that's by way you came by. Well, why are you here? If it's just a group, you go to Dr. York and tell Dr. York to teach you something.
Big brother.
No, I'm just trying to say, my point here is this. No, what I'm trying to tell you is this. Because that's exactly what I'm going to tell you, because the part of the first thing I'm going to tell you when I get into this thing in a few minutes is, in order for you to get to the other level, you got to renounce calling yourself anything down here related to a goddamn group.
Thank you.
Because you are beyond the groups.
I agree.
And I'm going to tell you how the alchemical shit inside of your body lines up. Remember I told you before, if you say, I want to be a sinner, then the alchemical process inside of you lines up that way. Because ye are gods, and whatever you want to do, you got to do.
You're going to substitute too.
You're going to do it. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is this here. The man already done told you, did he ever tell you in his teaching that you the gods? All the time. All right then. Then end the story. Now what we're talking about here is the level of the gods. You understand what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to say here is the thing here. Is my ass. You gotta come out of the groups because I'm trying to tell you this stuff you don't line up based on group on the mundane level. That's a part of your training.
I can feel that.
That's part of your training. I was a part of one of Dr. Ben's. I was one of his mystery systems. And that was good. I needed that at the time to learn a certain amount of Kemetic history and stuff like that, but I realized, hey, look, that's not the end all to be all.
Thank you.
Now, there ain't nothing wrong with that. How can you come before something unless you join something first? So that's what I'm trying to say. But the point I'm trying to make here is this here. When you go, they call it path working. That's when you right. And a path is your own journey.
Right, right.
The initiate has to go on its own journey. And you can't take nothing with you. Remember in Star Wars, the motherfucker told him, he said, what's in that cave? He said, only what you take with you. Susan, only what you take with you. I'm not saying that the man's stuff is wrong. All I'm trying to tell you is you have a level now that you got to make the decision. You have the goddamn crossroads. And the crossroads is, are you ready to go to the next level? Because guess what? I can't take it to the next level. You got to make that decision. Remember, in the Matrix, when they was in the dojo, and they was fighting, and the guy said, your problem is not in your technique. Why didn't you beat me? Why did I beat you? The problem is in here. So now, you see what I'm saying? You can't be no Nuwabian. You can't be no Nation of Islam. You can't be none of that stuff. You got to be straight up chaos. Because you can't name it a name. When you name it a name, it dies. Melanin inside of you, every time the white boy extracts it, it dies. Melanin never stops moving. And chaos is what melanin is. Melanin is chaos in the blood. Told you that in the movie Phantoms. He said chaos, plain and simple. The rules of chaos, get the book, Condensed Chaos by Phil Hines. Condensed Chaos by Phil Hines. In the book, the first rule of chaos is change is supreme. And if you're not willing to change, then you die. You see what I'm saying? Or you just stay at the same level.
There you go.
And you want to go to the next level, you just stay at the next level. Because change is supreme. And I'm going to tell you, at this particular time, you can't let nothing define you. You see what I'm saying? You can't let nothing define you. What's that?
The author of that book?
Phil Hines. Phil Hines. H-I-N-E. Condensed Chaos. Then he got one called Prime Chaos. Talking about chaos magic. What is chaos magic? Chaos magic is, the white boy looked back and said, look at these silly niggas. One over here calling himself Yoruba, one over calling himself Igbo, one of them calling himself Egyptian, one of them calling himself Al-Hausa. These assholes don't know that every tradition is just a fragment of itself because it's thousands of years old. And although those traditions was complete 2,000-3,000 years ago, they're only fragments. He's saying, now look, I'm ruling this motherfucker now.
That's right.
And this is what I'm going to do. I'll show you how the white boys do. They say, since we didn't create none of that shit, we will let them become divided in these traditions and in these groups. And what we're going to do, we're going to use all of it. That's what they call chaos magic.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I want to add with that. I was at a conference yesterday with some quote-unquote Hebrew Israelites. And at the end of the conference, I made a statement. I put some books down on just 5 big pieces of paper. I said, the reason why we can't come together as a people all together or just in the whole, the government has, each one of us has an organization
That's right.
set up under EIN numbers, making it a non-profit organization.
That's right.
We would never come together because as long as we're separated, who gonna come together put all this stuff in?
Man, not only that, let me tell you something. All you got to do is take your ass to, I don't know if you know it, but become a prison guard.
I have been.
You become a prison guard, and one of the things they give you is a sheet of paper showing you all the different religions and the different groups in there. You got to learn all that shit.
That's right.
They already know, and the government feed that system.
That's right.
Because they know as long as you separate it, and as long as you don't accept all of it, especially the goddamn dark side.
That's right.
Now, I'm the foremost scholar on the fucking devil and Satan. You understand what I'm saying? And that is us.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what the crackers say. Them niggas, they don't even know their true self. You used to call yourself Osiris, and you don't get into the fucking dark arts. It's the underworld shit. Yeah. Black magic itself is the black man's magic. Right. You see what I mean? And they don't make no shit that I'm scared of, and I done been through all of it. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make here is, they call it chaos magic. They've been dealing with this shit since the 70s. Our shit. But it's just like the Egyptians were saying when they was building in mistakes. White boy Thomas Dolby did Blinded Me with Science. Remember the movie? Remember the song Blinded by Science?
Right.
This white boy, they said, damn, this shit is awesome, man. They say, what make this song so popular? So he purposely built in mistakes in the side of the damn synthesizer, so when it come up, you see, that's the anomaly. Well, guess what? That's what jazz is. Even jazz. When the crackers wrote it down, jazz died. Now, you see, look, it's the same thing. You want to take the tradition with you. Duke Ellington was in Central Park. Greatest master ever lived, composer. Was in Central Park. He said, I ain't got time to go to fucking school. He said, I don't have time. He said, I don't have time to go to school and learn this shit at conservatory. The guy said, you're going to need some classical training. He said, I ain't got time for that. Right. The guy told him, well, I don't know who the guy was in the car. He said, well, take everything that you have learned and everything you think the schools are teaching you and throw that shit out the window and just go from the heart.
There we go.
And as a result, why did you got to go to school to learn Duke Ellington now? Here it is, the black man can create this shit, and then the white man can come and tell you, you got to have a degree to learn jazz. We talking chaos. Jazz is chaos. Everything, look, the white boy is in the blues and jazz. Now, that's because we abandoned it, because chaos has to change. And so the white boy only mastered it after we abandoned it so he could slow it down, write it down, and synthesize it. You understand what I'm saying? And become proficient at it. But it's dead music. People don't understand this before you could even. Eminem came out, what, the end of 97. Before Eminem came out, has become the king of rap now by 2000. See, that's what they calling this white boy. And to let you know they calling this white boy the king of rap, they gave him an Academy Award. They ain't got two black people that got Academy Awards for music. Ivy Kings, Cashapp, and Quincy Jones. Right. But Eminem, a newcomer, got a doggone Academy Award for that fucking movie. But rap was already in for damn near 17 years before they could even master it. Right. It came out in 79. Right. The point I'm trying to make here is, we talking chaos here. And you got to come out of traditions. Right. You got to come out of the traditions. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to knock your school or knock the people you're in. What I'm trying to say to you, that was all fine the way it was. You see what I'm saying? And he did a good job, commendable. You understand what I'm saying? But the point about that here is, if he said, you all are supposed to become gods, now it's time for y'all to become gods. So what the fuck you talking about what you did in the past?
Come on, let's go. Let's go to the lecture.
No, I'm just saying, you got to understand these things. You can't let the limitations. This is not to compare. It's just like one of the brothers back in, when we was going to see Dr. Ben John Henry Clark, he was sitting up there always mad because he was on Elijah Muhammad. And I told him, I said, look, the messenger of Elijah Muhammad did a certain work. It stands on its own. It don't have to be compared to something else. It stands on its own. That's the problem. We compare shit too much and trying to see whether your teacher was right. It doesn't matter. It's only, well, did you get what he was trying to tell you and what did you get out of it? He only can take you to the bridge. What it was is this here, in any group, there's a certain amount of scientists and there's a certain amount of followers. And some of the people that come up out of there, the scientists, and some of the people that follow. That's the way any kind of group. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to group to exist. Right. You understand where I'm coming from here? But the point I'm trying to make here is you got to become gods. And in this particular case, I'm gonna tell you something. There can't be no limitations on your thought. You see what I'm saying? On your thought. You got to check shit out. Now, the reptilians that they're talking about, if you don't get this motif, you might as well go home now because it's all talking about the Kundalini energy. The next thing here is this here. That Kundalini energy is a feminine energy. You see. Now, I'm going to go into some things right now, and it's going to end up a certain place. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Y'all all right?
Yeah.
You see. But we talk, this is different now. You see, this is different now. That's why I never started a group. I put out the information and I keep moving.
There you go.
You see, I keep moving. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to say, it's different now. We now have the ability at this particular time to shape our own destiny. You see what I'm saying? To shape our own destiny and stuff. And so that's what the deal is. So let's go into this thing. First of all, for you all to become on the higher level, you shouldn't start no groups. What I mean here is, this is pertinent. This is chaos realm. This is how the gods, it's like Bruce Lee said, you got to be like water, my friend. Water don't have no standards. You see what I'm saying? There's no methodology to water. When you box it in, it'll find a little crack. Even the goddamn Hoover Dam is only built to last, what, about 150 years. And that bitch is coming down. They ain't built nothing that can hold back water. But it can be the softest thing. Babies are born out of it. You see what I'm saying? But it can be devastating. How do you have anything wet? The hardest thing is a fucking mountain and a water down, way down a mountain. Bust a fucking pipe. But water is the physical manifestation of chaos. It never stops moving. And what happens when water stops moving? It dies. It becomes stagnant and it dies, and then what happens? It evaporates. Yeah, it evaporates. You see what I'm saying? So the concept here, when you're dealing with the gods, you see what I'm saying? Because let me explain where this is going so you understand how this works, how this magical universe works. It all works based on your heart chakra. That's what this Sri Yantra is. The supreme chakra is the heart chakra. There's a little dot in the middle. There's a little dot in the middle of the Sri Yantra. Inside of your heart chakra. What they're not telling you is this. There's a book. There was one put out. The woman put out the book when God was a woman. Yeah. She mentioned something in the book. She's the only one honest to mention it. Because all the other people that was into the Egyptology thing was males. And they flinched at what they saw. So they couldn't bear to mention it. Wasn't until another book came out. It was a book called Egyptian Mythology by Geraldine Pinch. And in there, because it's another woman, she was honest, and she mentioned what she saw in them texts. And what she saw in those texts was Osiris was worshipped as a god that was slain, the god of the underworld. You see what I'm saying? They gave all the characteristics. And the other thing, he was worshipped as a mother goddess. That's the part that the other Egyptologists couldn't put up in there. We're going higher up into this mystery shit. Osiris is also represented as the god, as the sign of Venus. The other representation of the sign of Venus is the goddess Het Heru. Het Heru is a cow goddess. That's where you get your golden calf in the Bible. Osiris is called a bull. Why is it that Osiris is represented by Venus and Het Heru? Because Osiris is nothing but the masculine side of Het Heru. Osiris and Het Heru is the same. Now, in the heart chakra, this has all got to do with magic. You want the gateways open for you. In your heart chakra, the reason why most people can't get it out here because this knowledge resonates on the root chakra. So when it resonates on the root chakra, the root chakra can only give them things that is mundane, societal, and what society says is reality. That's because they're on that level of ride, because the soul is still asleep. You don't even become awakened. The reason why you in here is because everybody in here is vibrating at a certain level of the heart chakra. The heart chakra. And that's the reason why you are here now trying to get this particular information. You understand where I'm coming from here? Of the heart chakra. The key here is that heart chakra. In that heart chakra, there's an intelligence. And that intelligence, that you call, that intelligence decide on whether you go on up to the pineal area or whether you stay resonating. So you have been, so the first thing here is you're already awakened to the point that you're not like everybody else out here that's dead. They say you stay 95, 85%. No, this motherfucker is like 0 point something. There's only like 2 or 3. Shit, it's like 0 point something amount of people that's awake. And the reason why you're awake because you're resonating at a certain part of the heart chakra. Then the other part is once you get there, you got to go to the crossroads. Now that means you can decide to just stay at that level and be satisfied with the knowledge you got and you understand that these niggas out here dead, you know, or you'll cross over and start living magically. The difference. And what makes you cross over is this. Inside of everybody's heart chakra is a woman that sits up in there and she judges. That's Osiris, but in so many words, that's this goddess Lakshmi. That's the Maya thing. There's a goddess that sits up in there and she judges in your heart chakra on whether you get to the next level or not. So, and so what you have to do to get to the next level here is you have to neutralize all forms of the ego that suggest that you are somebody, that you exist. Only thing exists is your soul. And a series of events that get you to know what your soul is. And the rest of the shit is an illusion. That's why you can't take nothing with you to get to the next level. I just want to put that out there. We're going to go back to that particular part in so many words. Now, let me explain this thing to put this on tape so you understand. The Egyptian or the Canaanite level, most of those terms are generic terms now, which means the energy is chaos. So what used to be called Osiris back then, they put it on the temple walls as principles so you can learn the principles of Osiris. You understand what I'm saying? But it's chaos. It has to keep changing. So what you call Osiris is a generic term, which is a term for knowledge, but to invoke the Osar, you understand, to get the full mastery of that and stuff, you got to call on something else. Why? First of all, it's because it's trying to show you that knowledge is not geographical. This thing here, first of all, it was one planet, one landmass at first. You see what I'm saying? Before you had whatever, continental drift, or some cataclysmic thing to break it up into continents. You understand what I'm saying? So when the Native Americans, which was black people up in the Montauk Indians, say that we got that the first place where man stood up was Montauk, Long Island. They're telling the truth. When the Egyptians say it was at the the beginning of the Nile where the god Hapi dwelled, you see what I'm saying? They're telling the truth. You see what I'm saying?
There we go. That's a good point right there to stop it at. Shout out to my guy, Bobby Hemmit, American Camelot. What y'all think about that? They're gonna drop the link in there. If you guys want to converse. Yeah, man. America. And what he was talking about to me was, like you said, you can't be using those old names. Ain't no power in Ra, ain't no power in them Egyptian names, you know? And I think he made a point to come back to America first. Like, hey, when these people in America say that they are where the land started at, where life started at, that's where you gotta understand that. Like, you know, this is the beginning part. This is the land first from out the sea, right? And all that spirituality comes from here, you know. And again, like one of the things about, I know we hate like the libations because he just be naming names, but that's the thing is we got to keep names intact. Grandma name, auntie T name, these is people that we know. But when he's talking about these principles, we got to keep these principles intact because again, these principles are science. The white boy is spooky. We gotta know that these Europeans come here and they get mystified and magical about our understandings. But these things, like he's saying, these is power, these are principles to powerful beings. You know what I mean? These are things that we gotta incorporate into our lives. Like everything that the white boy's scared of is stuff it's where we need to start. You know what I'm saying? We need to tap into our whole magical side of life. And like you said, I'm not saying like embrace the dark side. I don't even know if y'all can understand what he's saying. He's saying the dark side is the inside. You know, everything on light is an illusion. You know, believe none of what you hear, half of what you see, right? But the dark side, the inside, the shadow work, the connection, the source, the oneness is what's true. Your divine intention, your divine intuition, that's what's true. And that's what we're afraid of. We're afraid of the dark side because the dark side is the judge and the jury. Your oneness connection is your judge and your jury. You dig what I'm saying? Like how you connect the source is the only thing that matters, you know? And that's why, you know, like the thing is the chaos. What y'all think about that chaos? Huh? What y'all think about that chaos theory? That's what you gotta do in the world. I was explaining last night about spirituality being competition, you know, but that's the same thing as being chaos. You have to respect chaos and accept it, you know, because the world is chaotic, you know, and it's a frame of mind. You dig? It's a frame of mind. Don't get confused. Chaos is a frame of mind. What is spring? What is winter? Is winter chaos? Is rainy season chaos? That's chaos. You know what I'm saying? So when you, I get it, you know, if you're not prepared for the coming of the rainy season, then you might find yourself in the middle of some chaos. So you say, hey, look at the signs. We gotta prepare because it could be chaos. It ain't nothing spooky. It ain't nothing spooky. Once we get out that spooky stuff, we're gonna be cool. And that's the beautiful thing. Like he also said about, like he up here, he talking to these Nuwabians and he going at their chest. He told them they teach a fake to their face. He said, you ain't asked this nigga Dr. York nothing. And y'all gonna come here and ask me something. Y'all gonna come here and quote me. Wanna know what I'm thinking about. Nigga, ask your teacher. And that's how you got the bang. Like if you know what you know, you got the bang on it. But he sat there and told these Nuwabians, like, y'all don't know nothing. Y'all out here in the group. We not in the age of followers no more. Only group you should be in is the God group. You know? This ain't the age of group. This is the age of knowing and tapping into yourself. Like all this information is available. Of man know thyself. All this information is here at the fingertips. So what we gonna do, huh? What you gonna do with it? You gotta embrace it. You gotta know yourself. But you can't. You tapping into your programming. You know? Like again, Indians 2.0, American Indians, it's not a group, it's a family, it's a lineage. You can't join it. You're born into it, right? It's an identity, a self-realization. But it ain't a group. Again, these groups is to take you away from your family, take you away from your self-identification, from your bloodline. Yeah, like y'all don't want to have to, stand up for yourself. But this is the way of the world. Like, and we don't. And again, like he also mentioned something about how he wanted to buy a book. And the book was expensive, and he was trying to figure out, damn, how do I get this book? I can't afford it. But if it's used, you know, they take money off. He said the guy walked past, he seen something in the book. It was like, yo, this book is, I can't say this book is ripped. And he didn't even notice it. So now the guy think he giving him trash. But this is, you know what I'm saying? He's saying that this is another form of prosperity. And this is what we got to understand, how prosperity is. Sometimes it might be trash. It might look like, oh, I can't sell you this book. Or, oh, damn, this is garbage. This ain't such and such. You know what I mean? We not, you know, it's like the Jedi. You know what I mean? In the movie, the Jedi don't know what he's doing. He, you know, you got Obi-Wan Kenobi and them dudes. Luke, they tell him, listen, walk along, have a nice day. You're not going to talk to me. You're not going to arrest us. And then, you know, the Jedi repeats it. Hey, I'm going to have a nice day. I'm not going to rush you guys. I'm not going to talk to you. It's like they got mind control over Debo. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to have. Like, we got to respect that. That's prosperity. Like, sometimes it might look like, oh, he walking around with trash. No, nigga, you don't have the eyes to see. Everybody don't have the eyes to see what we are best to see. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta notice prosperity on all levels. Prosperity for us is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. If we can find prosperity on all levels, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. I think he kind of went ham today, though. You know, he got to go all around the book with the Egyptians and the Sumerians, because that's the exotic. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, it's history in it. I will never tell you. Like, I used to tell Uncle them, man, listen, them Egyptians come from America, bro. All that punk, all that, that's an Egyptian understanding. He mentioned the Hermes and the Tahuti. That's American. You know what I'm saying? All that understanding and thought is American thought. This is the true old world, the true creator, you know? And we got to tap into it. We get to acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the beautiful thing about it is we can't be judged by their wins and losses. We change. Like, again, what's change? I'm a change agent. I'm bringing change to the world. Y'all some change agents, right? Y'all out here bringing change to the world. Change is chaos. People wanted to stay calm and cool, and they want to just, you know, retire off of religion, right? They don't want religion to be a career. They don't want religion to be a ministry. You know, they don't want to make change, because change is chaos. You know, change is for the seer. You got to understand that. When you start thinking about change, you put yourself in the role of a prophet, my nigga. You know what I mean? Goddess. You start saying, I'm going to change this and we're going to make this better, because you already knowing that. What's a prophet? A prophet is someone who sees the future and they standing there and they can make a profit. They say, hey, this is going to happen. It's going to rain. better build the ark. That's a prophet. So when you start thinking about change, I'm going to do this and I'm going to affect this, and when I'm going to move this and I'm going to make this happen, you're a prophet. You're a change agent. But to these people, you dealing in chaos. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, the work is rewarding. You know what I mean? The work is satisfying. Be a change agent. Be a chaos agent. Why not? Because, again, you're a prophet. Those people are prophets. They see a better future. They see something that can't be seen, something that ain't comfortable, something that ain't normal. Yeah. Be a change agent. Be a chaos merchant. You know what I mean? Sell chaos, right? Because you know, what are we here for? Are we here to be divine, or are we here to be inclined and helpful and hopeful? Or are we going to be determined and make things happen? Like, this is the good part of the game right here. I keep telling y'all that. You know what I'm saying? But he was jamming though. I ain't gonna say he wasn't jamming. He was jamming. He just, he gotta play for the crowd, you know. But he ain't talking, you know. See, and that's the thing. I like Egypt. I wish Egypt, you know what I'm saying, could have a place as a time in history, you know. Like we gotta leave it where it's at on the shelf in history for some it's a copy of some stuff that you give. It's like it's a lesson that you give to people. You know what I'm saying? Like again, he showed you about the wall in Dindor about the hippopotamus giving birth to a dog, and that's their story. You know what I mean? Like that's their oldest story of creation, a hippopotamus. You know what I'm saying? But if you can understand that's not real science. that's not real science. That's a dummy down version. Okay, cool. We could understand that on a higher level that there's a hippopotamus and it represents water, right? A being living in water or something. We can get all of that, but you don't start off with a hippopotamus, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't start off with that. Like America, everything in America, it makes sense. This is where you start. You know what I mean? You go back again. Once we understand that when we say the sun is the ruler, we can say, what is a ruler? A ruler is a measure. How do we know what time it is? We measure the sun. Okay, cool. The sun is the ruler. Period. Point blank. We Americans. It ain't spooky. You know what I'm saying? We the soul people. She's crazy. But we the soul people. Once we understand that, hey, this ain't spooky. We use the sun to measure what time it is. So the sun is a form of our measuring stick, aka a ruler. Same thing we buy our kids for school in February. What is it? Fall, right? A ruler. But yeah, man, like chaos theory too. And you can't be, and when you're an agent of change, you can't be afraid of chaos. You can't be afraid of, like, I like how Bobby always got a story too. Dope. You know what I'm saying? How he burnt down the man's store. Like niggas think cause you spiritual, like you, you don't do dumb shit. Like, you know, hey man, he did some dumb shit. Shit happens, you know. Unfortunately, I'm sure it all worked out for good. But yeah, don't get off your path because you burnt down the man's store. I'm sure he got insurance and he got a fat check. He went up to send you something. You know? He just ain't had a heart to burn it down himself. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we got to stay in that mindset that like everything is working for us. Everything is working for you. Why would it be existing if it wasn't working for you? Huh? Why would it happen if it wasn't working for you? Why would somebody in the world live if they weren't here to benefit you? This ain't selfish and it's not egotistical. It's just knowing your place. Again, like, it's just knowing your place. A lot of us, we live in a world like, look, right, it's hard to imagine that we can live in a world where that we can live in a world, right, where there's where there's two dynamics, where there's a dynamic where you want to be a server, where you want to serve and help people, but there's another dynamic where you have to be a taker. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real dynamic. You know, like you have to be a taker. If you can't be a taker, then you tripping. If you can't be a taker, then you're not going to understand how to be a giver. Because when you're a giver, there are things that you need to give. I gotta give this. You know what I mean? I bet you need ingredients. You might need a place, a space. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta just understand that you have to develop a taking type of mentality. You have to be able to accept the fact that, hey, I need stuff in order to be a giver. I need stuff in order to, to manifest this reality. I need help. I need goodwill. I need good intentions. I need resources, bro, right? Because again, we're not just here. Like giving is, giving is a real thing. It's a career. It's a satisfying thing. But you gotta understand, you gotta be in position to give. Definitely like what Bobby was bringing down today. It was a good one. I don't know. I hope y'all like that one too. Kind of went ham, pajamas. Got any questions with this? We're going to just let it go right here. Thanks for everybody for stopping in. Hit the thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up. Take your stress out on that thumbs up. We're going to get into the day. I'll be back tonight. We're going to build. I know how we do. I got a history lecture popped up. And I got some spiritual lectures. I got a gang of spiritual lectures lined up. But we just going to have fun every day. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Nobody told you today, I love you. Love being in love with you. Peace. Thanks for Pretty Girl Rain for hanging out. And you, my dear lady, are the greatest person ever. You, my dear Chef Randall, are the greatest person ever. Shout out to Luki Hana in the building. She is in the building too with her phone is. Baby Lulu. With her fine self. We know she hit me on the back end. She didn't want everybody to know she was up in here. But she up in here watching, so don't get crazy in the chat. You dig? Hello. All these pretty girls. It's gonna be a beautiful year. We making millionaires. Stick close. Uh-oh. Look at I'm banging out shots. The Rastaman. Boyaka, boyaka. All the pretty girls in our building. I'm American Indian baddies. We love them. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But we'll be back tonight. See you soon. Peace. All right.